that Negro? What's up? Who's that? Smoke Splitter. What's up with you? What's up? What's up? This ought to be an interesting broadcast slash space for my people that's coming. For my people coming on YouTube. We got this discussion tonight. We're going to be talking about an Asian influencer, Diane Yap, who holds these spaces. And this chick is so anti-black. I didn't catch that space live. I caught it. I listened to some of it today. And of course, they pretty much dominated the conversation of who could come up there and speak. You had Tariq Nasheed in there. I think you had Lou Fax. You had a number of people that came in there speaking on the topic. And they were talking about all this per capita and black people, talking about their IQs, talking about, how black people don't understand per capita and this and that or whatever. Now, they always want to get away from the actual total number of crimes because it's per capita and all this other stuff. So they were talking about IQs. They were talking about white people's guilt and stuff like that. They were talking about all this stuff, all of the advantages. You had this woman, Diane Yap, up here sitting up here talking about all the advantages that black people got in this country. She's out there in California talking about there are certain universal basic incomes that black people could get that nobody else can get, like not showing any kind of proof of it whatsoever. So we're going to be discussing that tonight. And we have to talk about this situation that went on at this school as well, too. You had a lot of people seen it. I think this video's gathered something like 14 million views online. You had two teenagers fighting, a black girl and a white girl. They were fighting, and it got to the point that the white girl actually looked like she threw the first punch. The black girl, got an advantage, and they were fighting. And she hit her head a couple times on the concrete. Now, I believe the white girl is in the hospital with some injuries, and people want to see the black girl get arrested and go to jail as well too. So I'm gonna touch up on all of that. Shout out to Black Pressure coming up in. For all my people that's coming up on YouTube, guys, make sure y'all click that notification bell. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, everything else. Leave a comment tonight. We definitely want to read your comments over there in the YouTube sphere as well too. Like I said, we're gonna be touching up on two topics. Diane Yap, for those of you that don't know her, she's an influencer on social media, and she is really, really the pet of a lot of these suspected races, I'll say, white supremacist races, whatever you want to call them. And she says a lot of anti-black stuff, and they big up her and everything else as well too. And you had this other black guy that was in the space with her as well too. I don't know what his name, you don't know, or whoever the hell he was. He pretty much co-signed every single solitary thing this woman was talking about in that space. Every negative thing about black people, and then he would come up with, I'm not. You're sitting up here saying black people don't have a lower IQ, but then you're saying black is different per individual and this and that, whatever. So it was just a bunch of nonsense. I definitely want to get some of our people that may have been up in that space, because I believe that space took place Saturday. It was a Saturday or Friday. It had to be Saturday. And, a lot of people was up in that space as well, too. And like I say, it was ridiculous just hearing the talking points that this woman says. She was sitting up here talking about black people were, because it was hard to hear. For a long time in that space, her sound kept going out. So I could hear Tariq and I could hear other people talking to her, but you couldn't hear what she was saying. But something along the line that black people were deleting Asian people for fun. I'm like, when the hell have black people gone around and just started deleting Asian people for the hell of it, just because they could do it? Now, when people started spotting off the actual hate crime stats and this and that, who was really causing harm to Asians, the black man in the space, he had a lot of way to deflect. Oh, well, hate crimes. He didn't like hate crimes because hate crimes didn't make any sense. He kept saying, well, what kind of crime are you talking about? So basically, you want to use FBI statistics to talk about, black people, or black men in particular, 50% of the homicides, commit 50% of the homicides in this country. Black men do this, black men do that. But when it came down to actually talking about statistics that also the FBI provided, that in every case, for the most part, every case you're talking about, when it comes to these hate crimes, it's actually white people that actually commit the most hate crimes. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't fly. So he just sat up here, and every single solitary time, I think he had Lou Fax and a couple other people saying, "Hey, you know what, man? Basically, for all the black people that were released from prison and stuff like that for being wrongly accused, what do you say about that? What do you think about that?" He said, "Well, yeah." And this is verbatim because I can't remember exactly what he was saying. But basically, he was trying to say that, for all the black people that were released from prison, well, first off, if they were wrongly accused, that means that there was another black person that actually committed the crime. So still, you had black people committing the crime. Also, he was saying that if you add up all of the people that were actually, if you add up all of the acquittals and everything else, it still doesn't compare to the actual per capita and the amount of times that black people basically commit crime. So it was just basically hey, no matter what. Now, this dude was supposed to be black himself too now. And I doubted too when he was talking about proper English, and he's talking about that black people don't use proper English. And if you use proper English and you're making fun of white folks and this and that or whatever, or people trying to say you're trying to be white and this and that. I'm like, well, I know a bunch of articulate black people myself. I got some in my family, and everything else. So I never heard somebody say, well, this person is articulate, so this person is trying to be white, quote unquote. So it was just a kiss behind fest up in there. It was all kind of negativities. When you did have the black people that was coming up in there, because they stayed muting people, but when you had the black people that were coming up in there actually speaking in the space and whatnot, no matter what they said about the statistics, if it was anything in favor of black people or whatever, it was a way that you can refute it. You can do this, you can do that or whatever. So it was just absolutely crazy. Also, guys, we're going to talk about this situation too. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just read real quick. If you guys have not seen the video, I have that up in the Jumbotron. The actual fight between the two ladies. It's unfortunate. We do hope that the young lady, is not seriously injured, that she can make a full recovery. But let me touch up on this real quick. I don't have the actual article on hand, but I did print it out from the Independent. It says teenage girl left with serious head injury after street fight near Missouri school. A street fight between teenagers near a school in Missouri has left one girl hospitalized with serious injuries. The brawl broke out close to Hazelwood East High School and Spanish Lake, St. Louis on Friday afternoon. Police were called to the intersection of Norgate and Claudine Drives at around 2:30 p.m. Officers discovered one teenage girl suffering from a serious head injury. The fight was captured on video and posted to social media, where the clip has been viewed at least 14 million times in the past 3 days. The clip is all around and is going viral. And like I say, it is really striking a nerve with a lot of people as well, too. The video showed a fight between two girls with a large group surrounding them on the street. One girl is being pushed to the ground and her head hitting the concrete. Some then tried to break up the brawl, but others began fighting. St. Louis Police Department told the Independent that officers had arrested a 15-year-old girl on Saturday. She has been held by the St. Louis County Family Court on assault charges. The victim is currently in the hospital in critical condition, police said. Neither girl has been named, as both are minors. In a statement posted on Facebook, the Hazelwood School District said it was a tragedy anytime that a child is hurt. Bullying and fighting in the community is an issue for which we all need to take ownership and work towards a resolution for the sake of our children, the statement read. The Hazelwood School District offers our sincerest condolences to everyone involved, and we will offer additional emotional support from our support and crisis team to those in need. We look forward to continuing to partner with our community for the sake of our children. Please be kind and respectful of the families involved during this difficult time and pledge to help work towards the betterment of our entire community. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell called the video sickening, but said that his office did not have the power to act in the case. This is a juvenile court matter. Unless it is certified by the law, certification is not our decision either. Mr. Bell wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "We pray the victim makes a full recovery. This is heartbreaking." This is heartbreaking. And like I said, guys, if you have not viewed that video, please go ahead. It's up in the Jumbotron. Go ahead and take a look at it. It's got a number of comments on there. I posted it earlier, and it's a number of people that are really, really upset about it. A lot of racist things being said as well, too. Of course, you know that. A lot of racist things being said. It's a situation. It's a sad situation, like I said, and I hope the young lady can make a full recovery. I also hope that this young lady that was involved in the incident, the fight, that her life, that she's not going to be looking at any kind of serious jail time, anything like that as well too. It's going to be like I said, she's already been held in juvie, so who knows exactly how this is going to turn out. It was, the young lady, the white young lady, actually threw the first punch first. Peppy, I see you putting your thumb down, so please come on, request to come on up here and speak as well too. So if you want to speak, Peppy, please by all means come on up here and speak. Anybody, if you're new to the Newstoter space, you're welcome to come up here and speak as well too. So I'm sure there's going to be a difference of opinions, but you know, here we man up, my boy. We man up. So if you got something to say, that microphone is open. So you come on up here and you can voice your opinion. So we definitely don't have an issue with that. So Peppy, I see you up in the space. How can we help you tonight? How you doing?
How's it going? Oh, but yeah, I did put a thumbs down. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get any jail time. I mean, I'm sorry that getting in a fight, yeah, you know, if maybe she accidentally gets knocked out, she gets punched in the face. I understand. That shit happens in a fight.
Watch the language. Watch the language.
All right. You banging the girl's head into the cement like that, nah, you deserve at least a couple of years. Just my opinion. That's a little too violent.
Okay, so you're saying...
I'm just saying, it wasn't Diane Yap's face. I was one of the gentlemen on stage.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so I'm sure that a lot of the stuff that was said in the Diane Yap space, I'm pretty sure you agree with most of it that was said. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Not an issue. I just always find it fascinating that when we start doing the per capita and all this other stuff, that we're quick to throw out the actual raw numbers and the total number of everything else as well too. So I always find that very, very fascinating when we do that. You know, I find it extremely fascinating that we can sit here and we'll say, okay, well, they account for this percent and they account for that percent, but then we look at the total number, you know, they're not the actual total number of the actual people in jail and committing these actual crimes as well too. Like, it's fascinating because in that Diane Yap space, they were also talking about the hate crimes against Asians, because she made a remark, off the wall remark, that black people are out here deleting Asians for fun. But then when you look at the hate crime statistics, because everybody takes the statistics to the heart, they say, well, the FBI provided these statistics. Well, on every statistic, you know, black and hate crimes, black people have the most hate crimes committed against them. And Asians, you know, for the hate crimes they have, when they show the number of white people that actually commit crimes against them, that kind of goes unmentioned by the Asian community. So I always consider that, you know, extremely, extremely interesting to say the least. But Peppy, we'll get back to you. I got Kid Gravity up here, and then we'll come right back to you. Kid Gravity, what's going on, my man?
I have a question to this dude. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, get off the Bluetooth, bro. Talk to your phone.
All right, say this. Give me one second.
Shout out to all you guys up in the space tonight. Go ahead and tweet the space out as well, too, guys. Hopefully, Kid Gravity, he'll be getting his, I think he's got his Bluetooth in, so he'll be taking that out. DJ, go ahead while Kid Gravity's okay, Kid Gravity's ready. Go ahead, Kid Gravity.
Go ahead, bro. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
All right. I have a question. So I would like to ask him now. You said, Pepe, you had a problem with that video, correct? That whole situation.
Yeah, I had a problem with the banging her head on the ground like that. Yeah, that was pretty violent.
Okay. So I have a question. So when cops are, interacting with suspects, and let's just say they shoot people on the ground, do you have a problem with that?
Yeah, I think that any unnecessary force or especially lethal force should not go unpunished. You have to do it for all of our safety.
For all of our safety. Okay, great. So for all of our safety, let's just take that sentence and put it in the context of this. Do you feel as though the black girl was doing that because she thought her safety was in jeopardy?
Just smashing her head on the ground, it didn't look like that. And also, Yeah, when I watched it, I don't know why the fight started. It could be that the white girls even started. I don't have the information. I'm not going to even guess.
Well, the white girl looked like the white girl threw the first punch. She threw the first punch.
But I would say when she was clearly being overpowered, the black girl was clearly had a much stronger physical presence. I mean, that right there, slamming her head the way she did, to me, it's similar to picking up a brick or a rock and trying to hit someone.
Don't do that because there was no weapons involved. Let's keep the weapon out. This was a straight hands-to-hand street fight, and we all know street fights. There's no rules. The only rule is you have to be the one to get out of it.
So if I kick you in the head while you're unconscious, I mean, I don't know, is that
you can't do
there's
that.
No weapons involved? Is that legal?
It's a street fight, sir.
No, you can't do that. Actually, that's illegal. Actually, because if a person's no longer posing a threat, fight, it's actually illegal. No, but it's illegal.
By whose metric?
In any state, when it comes to self-defense,
it's not illegal in Texas.
Use force when you have a.
It's not illegal in Texas, sir.
It's not. You're telling me it's not illegal.
It's not illegal in Texas, sir.
I've never heard of a state where you can.
It's called Mortal Kombat. You can go look this up after you're done.
And that has to be agreed upon.
Correct. That they agreed on that fight. But
okay,
I know that wasn't
they
Texas.
agreed to
I know
fight
that wasn't Texas. But I'm just saying this is a street fight. There's no rules.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like you're just trying to come up with a justification. So
I'm not coming up with a justification. She was protecting herself
by slamming her head into the ground. Okay,
that's self-defense, sir.
All right.
Because we know if the roles were reversed, y'all would be championing that.
I actually, when I see white people commit violence, like the buffoons in Alabama that got hit in the head with chairs. To me, that was embarrassing. I'm glad some of them got a whooping and they ended up getting court cases. I think that's a good thing. I don't want to see my people acting like a bunch of assholes or being violent. So I don't.
Hey, no profanity, guys. But go ahead.
So you're great that they got beat up. You're great that the Montgomery people got beat up.
I'm glad that the since the white boys started it, the fact that they got it, that's on them. Why am I gonna? I'm not gonna cry a river for somebody who starts a fight like that and they get worked over. That's their problem.
So you shouldn't cry a river over this girl.
Do you know exactly how it started?
Yes. They were standing there. The black girl did not advance on her. She stood there. White girl flexed and moved forward on her and threw the first punch.
I've not seen all of those details.
Yeah, I understand that because you're probably following accounts that cut out that first part and got only to the part where the black girl was on top.
No.
So how did you? So if you didn't see her video, why didn't you research this before you?
It looks like they were the video that the longest video I've seen showed that they were already posturing, and then
it looked like problem. That's not
Kid Gravity. Hey, one person at a time. One person up. Yeah, that's fine. Peppy, go ahead, and then Kid Gravity, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want to post the longer video, or comment.
Well, if Newstoter wants me to post it, I can go get it, but I'm not going to disrespect his platform by putting that video.
That's fine. You can go ahead, Kid Gravity. You get a chance. You can. I put the video I saw in there, but if you get a chance, you can post it.
Right. The longest video has them standing, and I guess the white girl was talking stuff, and the black girl was just standing there, and then she moved forward and threw the first punch. That's what I'm saying. The videos you saw, you just admitted, already had the black girl on top. That's not the longest video. So that's why it said you probably saw the videos that people already cut up to make it look like the black girl just attacked that white girl for no reason.
No, it's my understanding that it wasn't. There was hostilities going on beforehand. I don't think there's nothing that, at least that I've heard, no indication that this was for racial reasons or random. And like I said, I'm somebody who's not going to jump the gun and attribute any cause to why things turned out the way that they did. I'm just pointing out that at the time when she was on the ground and was getting her head violently smashed into the pavement, I mean, I looked at that. I think most people look at that and they say, wow, you cause a traumatic brain injury doing that. That is horrible. And sure enough, she's in critical condition. We saw that she had a seizure, which is obviously due to brain trauma. I do think that's you do have, both of them. They whether or not even if we don't look at the backstory, it's like, okay, when you behave that way, what do you think the penalty should be? Just a slap on the wrist, some community service?
Nobody said that. They're all going to do something. They're all going to have to face the law. It depends on what their defense attorneys argue on. Now, the defense attorney for the black girl is going to say that she was attacked first, and she was acting in self-defense. Now it's up to the court. It's up to the court of that state to say that, you know what, she acted too much, so let them rule on that. But let's get to that point first before we start speculating.
Hey, let me jump in there real quick on this, because this is kind of a specialty to me. I'm gonna just keep it simple. White girl threw the first punch, black girl hindered her. Have a nice day, everybody. Go home.
All right. Peppy, Kid Gravity, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next speakers, and then you guys, if you want to stay up here, just raise your hand if you want to speak again. But Kid Gravity, if you get a chance to post that video, go ahead and post that video as well too.
Oh, I did, brother. I already put it in there.
Okay, appreciate that.
I think it's the second one.
Okay, no problem. Do not at me. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just wanted to say, just to address what you guys are talking about, so I'm not too off topic, but I don't really have sympathy for people who start fights and whatever, depending on whatever happens to them, I don't really care. But I know legally, of course, is another question. Of course, like, you're not going to get my sympathy, but of course, you can't just say that she was in the right legally to how she went about it. At some point, I think that other girl was unconscious and she kept going. I don't know how she'll plead. I don't know what she'll say or how they'll defend it, but I'm pretty sure it'll be complicated, especially if the fight wasn't actually started by her. But I was gonna ask. I'm just curious because I was in that other space, and so
yeah, we know you were one of the co-hosts, weren't you?
Yeah, I sure was. So I was just curious, like, what's this space about, and how's it pertain to the one that I was co-hosting?
Well, this space is talking about the situation that went on in that space, a per capita space as well too. This is a combination space, I guess you could say, about the incident with the teenagers, and also covering what went down in that space as well too.
Okay, well, I'm curious what the co-hosts think about what went down in that space. I'd like to know if that's okay.
Well, I mean, it was a number of things that was said. It was.
I was just saying that wasn't there, but I already know what Asian hate is fake Diane Yap is about, as well as Asian Dawn, and as well as all these anti-black Asian people. Asian hate is fake in the story for the most part, but go ahead, though.
Yeah, I mean, that space had a number of things that was said in that space. It was a 6-hour space. I think I listened to maybe about 4.5 hours of it. Some of the key points, of course, the per capita talk that you guys were talking about. And like I said before you came in here, I was talking to Pepe, and because I believe Pepe said he was in that space as well too. I didn't catch the space live. I actually heard the recording, but per capita, of course, we're hearing talks about black people's IQ. It was talks about white guilt as well too, and
Diane Yap called our ancestors who were slaves farm equipment. So yeah, she gotta go.
Black. Also, there was talk about oh Jesus, I just it just slipped my head. What did I say? The IQ. It was talking about all of this black on Asian hate as well too. This black on Asian crime, and I know Tommy Sotomayor, he came in there later on, and he basically was saying that black people. He said a number of things about black people as well too. So there are a number of people in this space that was in there, and they can come up here and speak as well too. There was a whole lot to unpack in there. I heard a little bit of Tariq Nasheed in there. I heard Lou Fax in there. So there was a number of things to unpack.
What were you guys' stance on what was actually said, though? I would rather not get into Diane's tweets, but rather what was talked about while I was there.
Well, I had a hard time at times listening to Diane because I could hardly hear her, to be honest. There were a number of times in there that she was speaking, I couldn't hear her. I know one thing And from what Tariq and it sounded like what Tariq was saying, that she made a comment that black people were out here killing Asians for fun. So, that was because I could not hear her voice on there, but he was responding. Apparently, he was responding to it because from what everybody in the comments was saying, they had a hard time hearing her at times in there. But it was a comment that particularly caught my attention where she was saying that black people were killing Asians for fun. Now, like I say, I didn't hear the space live, and I know people had an issue hearing her as well too. So that was one thing in particular that really stood out to me, because I'm in Florida, and we have a decent Asian population. I'm not going to say we don't have as much as New York or California, but we have a decent Asian population, and I've never known black people to go around killing Asian people just for the hell of it.
I don't know. I don't agree that that's a thing. Like, I don't think that's something that's occurring within like black neighborhoods or communities or thought. But I do think one of the things that's happening is there's a number of I think black people have higher rates of schizophrenia, and schizophrenia is the one mental illness where you're more likely to harm other people than you are to harm yourself.
Are you a doctor, sir? Are you a doctor?
I don't need to be a doctor to see racism.
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. Are you a doctor or any medical professional?
No.
Okay, you don't speak about our mental health, please. Just man, because you're not.
Yeah, so anyways, but that's just a stat. That's just a stat.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, let him finish real quick, DJ. Let him finish.
I'm not even trying to interrupt you. I'm just saying about things like that. Whether it's not all the way accurate.
Well, you refute whether you think that that's an appropriate diagnosis that black people are getting. Let me finish what I'm saying so you can understand what I'm saying. You can refute whether you think that doctors are doing a good job of accurately reporting the mental health of black people or not. But what you can't do is say that it's not true, that that's what's been reported. That is what's been reported. And again, it's just higher rates. It doesn't mean that there's like this large number of black people who are schizophrenic. I just think that it's not that I think it. There is a higher rate of schizophrenia amongst black people. I think what's happening is just that I think when you're schizophrenic, you probably target people that seem the easiest to target. And I think older Asian people probably do seem that way. But to say that black people are beating up Asians for fun, I mean, I would definitely disagree with that. That's not happening.
Well, from my understanding, and like I say, from what I could hear of the actual video, she didn't say beating up. She was saying that they were killing. From what I heard, I disagree with both things. I don't think they're killing Asians for fun. I don't think. Well, I know for a fact they're not out here. And that's not to say you don't have a individual or two, but I know for a fact as a group, black people aren't out here killing Asians for fun. So I found that to be the craziest thing in the world. And it was a number. To be honest, it was a number of things that was said. But we got a lot of hands up, so I don't want to dominate as a host.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I'll end that statement with this, and it's really not something I want to talk about. But I try to be as charitable as possible with everybody, even people that I disagree with. If you listen to the space, I do think I tried to do that. But I think the most charitable way to interpret that is that a lot of the videos that you'll see where a black person is attacking an Asian, it's almost entirely unprovoked. So it's not that it's for fun, but it's like it looks almost entirely unprovoked. So I think that's where she's coming from with that.
Hey, and I will say this right here, and categorize
it that way. Go ahead.
Let me say this real quick too, and then I'm gonna get to the hands. In some of those videos, we've seen Asians whipping on black women in those salons as well too, and I don't see the uproar from people as well too. So I'm just gonna.
Where?
You said where?
Brooklyn, New York.
No, they actually were everywhere. And what happened is Google allowed people to actually petition to have them removed. And so it's funny, and I know I'm not next, Newstoter, shout out to the space, but I wanted to bring that to light. And, when I hear people utilize statistics that they don't.
Yeah, you actually are next, Rella, so go ahead. Yeah, you actually are next.
When I hear people utilize references to statistics and they actually don't give you the reference, but they use the term I think versus what I've read, where I've read it, will give nuance to what it is that you're speaking about, and it allows us, the people you are actually telling your point of view to find out where we can go and reference the information. I think also, and I think because of what you said, that it is not helpful when you host a space and you don't have the statistics to give out to the room or the people that you're hosting, also to rebut things that they're saying versus just allowing them to actually spew denigration and defamation of a group of people, when health statistics do not have the highest rate of Black people, especially the NIH. There's nothing listed saying that the highest rate of people with schizophrenia are Black. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that down in the purple pill. I'm going to drop it down in the purple pill. I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to make sure it has a breakdown by race. And the other piece of it is when you're having mental health discussions, I'm talking. I didn't interrupt you. Just let me finish. Thank you. So I believe that if you're going to have a space where someone's going to come in and challenge the Department of Mental Health or challenge the medical community, it's good to have professionals who literally are PhDs and who literally are working in the communities that you are speaking about versus someone who has a disdain. Diane was pulled off of the USCCR because it came out even in her own community that she was actually going against the initiatives that they were trying to get passed through the Civil Rights Board, and she was spewing more hate than she was actually talking about the initiatives that the Asian community at the time, when they met with the USCR, to discuss a lot of the Asian hate. And they also admitted that the Asian hate is not coming from Black America. So the few videos that we've seen in the past that were posted after the videos of Asians attacking Black Americans in their community, because they do have a higher presence when it comes to owning stores, getting the ability to actually have occupancy when it comes to economics. And there was a high record number of hate crimes committed towards Black Americans that were not documented. And that is true. Google did allow people, and you can do that even today. You can go on, you can challenge information that's on Google, and you can have it removed. And that was happening. Because I remember the gentleman, Muhammad, and I believe it was the New Black Panther Party. I remember a couple of organizations, even the NAACP, the Equal Justice Initiative, were starting to talk about the rise in hate crimes that were happening, not just to Black women, to children. And that even brought back the issue around what sparked the riots in LA after Latasha Harlins was shot and murdered. So again, when we start to have these conversations, it's almost as if like we're talking to people who have their perspective, and they're trying to be so open to everyone and see their point of view and their perspective. And it's like, well, you have to also make sure that you are filling in the gaps. And if you're not filling in the gaps, then you're allowing people to paint narratives that are untrue. And that is not fair. That is not right. That is, again, goes against the harms that Black Americans do talk about on a daily basis that happen from people who actually develop this ability or innate ability to want to practice genocide, whether they believe it's genocide or not. So that's my point. I'm going to put the information down there. You can rebuttal, and I will, raise my hand again.
All right. Thank you. Hold on real quick. We got some speakers. So if anybody's not going to speak at this time, drop down, because we got people trying to request to come up. So if you in the speaker spot and you're not going to speak at this moment, definitely go ahead and drop down, and we'll go ahead and we'll get to you. The reparationist, she's next. And let me go ahead.
Someone when they respond to me, or do I need to wait for every other?
Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna let you speak, but I'm gonna say this right here. It's not gonna just be, a two-way conversation, because we do have other people. Hold on. I'm gonna let you address it. Yeah, I'm gonna let you address it.
I'm asking what the rules are.
I'm telling you what the rules are. I'm telling you. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you address what she said, and then we're going to move on to the next speaker. We're not just going to have a back and forth between you and whoever. We got to go ahead. We got a bunch of people up here in the speakers section, and we want to go ahead and let everybody be fair enough and let everybody get a chance. Once we do that, we'll move back around the room and we'll get to the people that spoke before. Mia was up here. I was trying to get her up here, but she must have dropped down. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll let you speak. And then we got other hands that's up waiting as well, too. So go ahead. If you got a Bluetooth on, please take that off because we can't, it's hard to hear you.
Go ahead, do not. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I just waited to come off of mute. Yeah, so just so you know, I'm not trying to disrespect your space at all. I just wanted to know like how this is going to work. Like if somebody says something to me, I wanted to know if I was going to have to wait for 6 other hands before I could actually address it. That can be tough if everybody says something. So just wanted to be clear on the rules. Not trying to skip. But just to address it, the first thing she said, I won't get into everything, but yeah, it's verifiable what I said. I wouldn't say anything that's not verifiable. Not like that. And you can just Google right now schizophrenic rates by health. You'll see WebMD has it there, and then you can look at an actual academic study that shows it from the the World Journal of Psychiatry. You'll see that Black people have a rate of schizophrenia that's about 3 to 4 times higher than European Americans. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, they have higher rates of depression and suicide. That's just what's been reported. So I mean, that's what's going on at these doctors' offices. I'm not making it up. And if you have an issue with it, it's not the statistics you have an issue with. You just might have an issue with how they're determining who has schizophrenia and who doesn't. But you'd have to take that up with them. So.
All right. Hold on, Rella. Hold on. Because we got to get to the other speakers as well, too. So I'm going to get back to you, Rella. But we got a bunch of hands, people waiting. Let me get to the reparationist perspective.
Good afternoon, fam. It's really great to see you guys still getting it in and tackling these topics. You know, I've not gone live in a while. I've just been blogging my ass off. And this afternoon, around 7:00 Pacific Standard Time, I'm hosting my first room in a long time because this vote is way too critical. And the stuff I'm seeing about voting the couch and all this bullshit listen. I got a call to action.
Hey, Angela, try not to curse, sweetie, but go ahead.
I'll do my best. It's very difficult when I'm talking about these issues, but I will do my best to refrain. I'm not going to be long. I just want to let folks know that I have a call to action concerning the swing states at 7:00 here in the X space. Tell everybody you know. But yeah, I got that. And as far as this topic is concerned, I've not watched the video because it's too traumatizing since watching George Floyd's life be kneed out of him by the glacier donkey, Chauvin. So it's very difficult. I mean, it literally sends me into a tailspin. My anxiety and everything goes on full tilt since seeing Mr. Floyd's life taken, and then to see the glacier donkey sit up here and act as if he died of a drug overdose. Like we didn't see what we saw. It is just, this is what this feels like to me. This is what this feels like to me. Folks.
Hey, real quick, Angela. Hey, Crown, because I know you came off your mic. I guess you was trying to say something slick. Stay on your microphone, okay? Don't come off your microphone. And that's to all the speakers up in the space. When somebody's talking, don't come off your microphone. Stay on your space. Stay on your mic. Do not. I'm gonna go ahead and when we're gonna drop a speaker down, and I'll bring you back up here. Right now the slot is full, but just stay requesting, and I'll bring you up. But go ahead, Angela. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just saying that this is more of the same. Like, whenever we're not allowed as Black American Negro freedmen to stand our ground. We can't defend ourselves. They're going to always find a way to weaponize the legal system against us. They're going to always find a way to kill what's happening to us. Just like, they're trickling out the information about these race soldiers still being able to murder us by qualified immunity. It's just down to a trickle because they know if they put this on the news, it's going to rally the people together and we're going to be in these streets. But when we go to the streets, we get, these little gas bombs, these rubber bullets. You see these Palestinians all over the place able to fight against their own genocide. We're in the country our ancestors built with their lives, and yet we can't fight against the genocide happening here. Nobody wants to talk about that but me. Letting you guys know that you vote, your reparations, and your taxes are being used to genocide you with these immigrants. And it's us against everybody. It's us against everybody. It's bad enough we got to fight glacier donkeys. Now we got to fight Crayola wanton white supremacists. And this type of hostility is in our faces because we refuse to weaponize our vote. I'm not going to really do all that here. That'll be at 7 o'clock. But this is where we're at with it. We can't go anywhere. We can't even be in our own communities without them bringing these small pop people of color blankets in to snuff us out. Our children can't even attend school. We know how that failed given the pandemic. We see folks like Brandon Johnson reallocating COVID funds intended for our communities, our reparations and taxes to shelter these illegals who are hostile. You arrest them, you let them free Eric Adams, Kathy Hochul, and then you want to turn out this stop and frisk. Now you want to do stop and frisk at the damn subways, holding the people up, the handful of us that are left, because you refuse to end these sanctuary states. I am just over how the media is in the pocket of the demon rats and the repugnant clans and these immigrants. And because of our vote, there's 282 million of them to only 50 million of us. And we are tired. We are tired of you guys obfuscating your bullshit and then wanting to cry wolf because we check your hands on the ground. We're tired of that. You come for us, we can't go to the store, we can't sit in our cars, we can't do anything. We can't be black in this country without one of you Karens or Kens having a problem with it. That's what we're up against, and y'all need to know that your vote is delivering more of this. These borders are wide open, and they're not allowing anyone who is an ally to Black American Negro freedmen in this country. So you're going to be seeing more of these reports of our kids having to crack the skulls of these people because they won't let up on our children. They won't let up on the adults, and we are being genocided while folks want to focus on a handful of Palestinians in this country who are allowed to show up and protest against a genocide happening overseas in a way that we aren't afforded the same privilege. I'm over it. So I just wanted to bless the mic, tell y'all hello. It's been a while, but you see why, because this stuff puts me on full tilt. Now I don't know how to refrain from cussing. So with that being said, I hope to see some of you in my space at 7 o'clock for this action plan. Love y'all. Deuces. Peace. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's 7 o'clock Pacific time, I believe. So if you guys trying to catch your space, that's 7 o'clock Pacific time. Let me go ahead and get to FBA Trey. FBA Trey, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up?
Hey, what's up? Also, guys, if you want to speak, if you want to speak, also raise your hand while you up here as well too. But go ahead, FBA Trey.
Appreciate it. But yeah, I was talking to Diane. I was one of the earliest speakers, but you know, she's one of those agents who, you know, she does performative racism to attempt to gain the favor of whites. She's one of those who likes to make the IQ and race argument, you know, somewhat subliminally, and you know, I kind of had to lay it to her early on in her little space the other day, just talking about history. That's my specialty right there. And you know, she had a backpedal. As a matter of fact, where's the guy at who was the co-host? Yeah, do not at me. Yeah. See, he's laughing because in the recording is there. They backpedaled off with a race and genetic argument when I came up there. They don't know much about history. I do. One thing I pointed out to Diane, she's always talking about, you know, who's smarter, all that stuff. I pointed out the fact that Europeans, you know, they were too stupid to domesticate their own crops. They never had their own Neolithic, and we know that farming is the basis of civilization. And I pointed that out. I pointed out how every other race, people we call primitive, you know, every other race has their own local domesticants, which is the basis of civilization. They backpedal. Do not, as a matter of fact, do not at me. He was really, he was doing the most for his fortune cookie prize the other day. He was really caping for her, just shielding her from these hard questions. You know, he didn't have an answer. He was saying, what's the significance of this? What does this have to do with? It has a lot to do with everything, because her whole thing is blacks are dumb. We're the bottom of the barrel. She's a eugenicist. That's what she is. She's a white supremacist, a wannabe white supremacist Asian eugenicist. And she likes to make these ridiculous theories that blacks are at the bottom of humanity, at the bottom of intelligence. You know, I had to bring up a lot of facts that, you know, she wasn't aware of. I brought up, you know, the whole Egypt thing, the whole fact that Ramses III had E1B1A, which is, you know, our DNA. So they really backpedal and do not, you know, I didn't know this was going to be a big space like that. I was really trying to get that do not at me. I was really trying to get in his ass because he was acting a donkey for his Chinese overlord the other day. I mean, a donkey. When I got his ass on that Egypt thing, he just removed me. And if you go back and listen to the recording, I'm talking between like the 30-minute the 30-minute and the 1 hour mark. You know, they don't have any arguments for this. And Diane backpedaled, you know, all this goofy shit. But you know, watch the language.
Hey, I'm hitting the button. I'm hitting the mute button to let everybody know that they come up here. Do not curse, guys. Do not curse. This is being streamed on YouTube, and I'm trying not to get my YouTube channel hit because it has been hit. So everybody coming up here, everybody's articulate enough. And I know that was one of the things. They was also talking about articulation and everything in that space with Diane Yap as well too, about you know, black people basically not being articulate, or if articulate that's trying to be white and all this other stuff. But go ahead, FBA Trey. I'm gonna go ahead and let you. I'm gonna give you about another minute or two, and then we got to move it around. But go ahead.
Where's your mic, Trey? It was a double mute, my bad. Yeah, just a quick recap on this space of the thing. But yeah, another thing I wanted to point out, something to notice about those incidents, about those anti-Asian attacks. If you notice a pattern about all of these attacks, they're all caught on tape. About 90% of them, over 90% of them, it seems, are in two metropolitan areas: the San Francisco Bay Area, and they're also in the New York City metropolitan area. They're not spread out throughout, say, other places where there are a large Asian and black population, in, say, Dallas, Chicago. You don't see any videos of those cities. You don't see any for the most part. You don't see any. They're all in LA and the Bay Area, which to me, I think all of this is kind of a setup to kind of make Asians a buffer class group. Because if you notice, as soon as those videos started making circuit, they immediately passed the law as soon as Biden got into office. Why this is dangerous? If you've ever, you know, studied colonial history, you know that the British people literally put Asians in charge of those colonial Africans over there, and that triggered a lot of violence, and a lot of people don't know. They put Indians in charge of a lot of those British colonies. In South Africa and Uganda, they put Indians in charge of everything. The administration, the finance, the economy, they ran everything. The banks. This is why Idi Amin had to kick them out of Africa, out of Uganda. This is why in Zanzibar, people do not know this. Google the Zanzibar Rebellion. Those East Africans, those Bantus, they they actually massacred 40,000 Arabs and Indians because the whites were using those groups as a buffer class to subjugate them. In South Africa, there was the Durban riots. A lot of people don't know this. The Durban race riots. The white people literally imported Indian slaves like Gandhi. They imported them there. These people started to develop these goofy attitudes, like how you see these Asians are today, developing these goofy attitudes of superiority to the blacks. And guess what happened in the Durban race riots? Those Zulus did a number on those Indians. It was really a massacre. And the most sinister thing about that incident, the white people in South Africa were laughing. They were pointing when they saw the blacks coming. They were literally pointing out where the Asians were. They were like, "The Asians are here. The Asians are here." So the whites literally orchestrated that entire issue. This is what they're doing in America. They are setting these people up as a buffer class. They have passed laws to protect them. This is dangerous. And we need to raise hell about this. They are not our friends. They are ops. I'll land on that.
All right. Appreciate you. I'm going to let everybody know if a new speaker comes up here, the last person that spoke, we're going to probably drop them now. If you up here in the speaker section and you don't have your hand up and you don't want to speak right now, go ahead and drop down and we can bring you back up here. Black Pressure, I know you up here, but I don't see your hand up here. If you're not going to speak, go ahead and drop down and we'll bring you guys back up here when we get a chance. Let me go ahead and get to let me get to Talent. Talent, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, peace and love, family. Shout out to the host, the co-host, Brother Mugo, DJ, Newstoter, peace and love. I'm going to be kind of short. I don't really got to go too long. The per capita space was BS. If you're racist, I'd rather just say you're racist, right? I'm kind of tired of this whole per capita rates versus raw numbers. Like, all of this stuff that, like I think we kind of hit to the game. It's all narratives, right? And I think the disappointing part that bothers me about a lot of these conversations is, even if those were true, right? Let's say if I took the bait and said, okay, that's true, then it really just becomes a space where you just want to beat up black people for the social dysfunctions that we experience, right? And when we point out this is the history and the legacy of these things and what you've seen in the 1940s and not the same thing you've seen in the 1980s crack era, there's no solution, right? There isn't the brother, whatever his name is, that was kind of shielding this lady, utilizing his research or his per capita numbers to be solutionary and solve problems of the individual and the community. So I kind of don't like those spaces. I normally don't give time to it because it's really just people utilizing whatever anti-black bias that they have and finding things to confirm it, right? Because raw numbers, historically, whites are more violent, right? We could literally go to every era in time in modern history, they are. So to compare that with people who are under 25 years old, kids who are 16 in Chicago, it just doesn't make sense because the majority of the black population, 95% more, don't involve themselves in any type of criminality at all, right? The amount of individuals that's locked up in terms of black people in the United States is under 500,000, right? We represent 50 million people. So what is the conversation really about if you just want to focus on the individuals who commit crime? So let's just look at the underworlds of everybody's community, right? Let's look at the pedophilia. Let's go to let's go to Roosevelt because I live in New York City. Let's go out there in Roosevelt, Queens, where they got the Asian chicks out there selling ass in broad daylight, right? Let's go to Lower East Side where you got the white kids on meth, right? There's so many things we could say that I see out here because it's a melting pot. But one thing that I don't see is a bunch of black people running around beating up Asians for fun. Never seen it in my life. Never seen. The Chinese restaurant, the nail salon, the beauty supply store. The proximity that they have to us. If we wanted to just wake up every day to kick some Asian ass.
Language. But go ahead.
Sorry. You're right. If we wanted to kick at some Asians, we would have been did it. It'd have been done. They'd have been left the community. They'd have been ran they businesses out the hood. Once we started to say that y'all be feeding us cats and dogs right? Like all that stuff that be happening, we just use satire to have jokes. So some of this stuff that I heard in that space is just weird to me. I'd rather you just say that you don't like us, and you're gonna find whatever evidence that you believe about us to substantiate your claims of really just anti-blackness, because you're not positioning anything in a way to be a solutionary person to help solve the dysfunctions of the Black IQ, right? When I went to the stage, I asked the brother the question, so are you saying that Black people are genetically unintelligent? And then the conversation was that no, it's not that it's genetic. Maybe it's a little bit of both. It's maybe, then it becomes more about culture and behavior. So we talk about culture and behavior. The question to ask is, well, what about social engineering, right? Are you aware that social engineering is a situation, right? When you're forced to integrate into a broader society, because when you try to self-sustain yourself, you were continually attacked. So in order to try to find a wedge of protection, you decided to integrate yourself. And to this day, 70% of our public schools educating our kids per capita of the years that are in the education system, right? So I just don't like those things. And that's it. Now to the other part, the viral video. If it was the Black girl who's the Black videos that we see, we could go to see white kids fight, and we could see this is the internet, right? I mean, if we survive World Star, I'm surprised people are so outraged when you can kind of cherry pick footage all day and make a narrative around it. The only reason why this is a conversation is because there was a white girl that got her head snatched in, and white fragility is running rampant, and it's, oh my God, she slammed this white girl. They are evil. They are monsters. They are beasts. They have no self-control. But when white men show we got white men who have an oath to protect and serve, right? But when there's no restraints that come from the other side, it's always, well, what did they provoke? They provoke that. It's this inherent violence that Black people have. And I'm going to land here. It reminds me of about a year and a half ago, there was an argument that happened somewhere in the Upper West Side, in Upper Manhattan, where a Black dude stepped right beyond the counter after an altercation happened with the Habibi guy and the girl, and she ran, and the Black dude came back, and he stepped behind the counter and grabbed him, then punched him, then swing on him. He just grabbed him, and the Middle Eastern dude grabbed a knife and stabbed him to death. All I saw was people online, the same ones that donated to Daniel Penny, right? The same ones that donated to Daniel Penny when he killed Jordan Neely on a train. They all was clapping and saying, "Oh my God, that Black guy, he could have killed them. This middle, he's 60 years old. He had to defend himself." It's really just, just be honest. Just say you don't like Black people. Just say you think that we're violent. Just say that you think that we are. Just say that. Leave with that, and let's end the conversation, because all of this per capita dancing around, okay, if Black people really are socially fucked, socially damaged, you're not positioning anything to help solve the problem. And as somebody that works in the community every single day, it gets tiring, and I have no problem seeing what happened with that girl in that video and doing the same goddamn thing. And I like.
All right, appreciate that, Talent. Real quick, guys, up in the Jumbotron, I added another video up there on the far left-hand side, guys. And this was a video you had two women fighting, two white women fighting, and it was like the same ending where you had a woman getting her head hit upside the actual street, had her head banged or whatever. I don't know if any charges were filed, anything like that as well, but I didn't hear the outcry when that video actually surface as well too. So that's up in the Jumbotron. For those that can, guys, support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today. Once again, $Newstoter. We also have the membership up in the actual the Newstoter membership for the platform up in the actual Jumbotron. Definitely go ahead and sign up for all our people. That's also on YouTube. That's on the actual screen on YouTube, guys. We have the membership. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, we do have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. And on YouTube, we have the PayPal and Venmo in the description. Shout out to Brother Moku for his contribution on Cash App. Let me go ahead and get to Crown. I'm going to give you the order. We go into Crown. We go into Mark, Amia, Revel, I believe it is. Revelator. I don't know if you don't have your hand up, so I'm not sure if you're trying to speak. Revelator, if you're trying to speak, go ahead and put your hand up. I see we have an original here. Not our regular original, but we got an original up here. So definitely, if you're up here in the speaker section, you need to have your hands up, guys. So if you don't have your hands up, we will not get to you. Let me go ahead and get the crown, and then we're gonna get the Mark, Amelia. So go ahead. We're gonna move it around. We're gonna get everybody a chance to speak.
Can I address the people that are speaking to me, or we're gonna?
No, I'm gonna get.
I'll let using Lyft address his points because a lot of this.
Damn, I can't hear you.
Misconceptions.
Yeah, can't nobody hear you.
Hold on, real quick. I don't know who was that speaking. Who else was that speaking?
That's Gen X dad. Like, what's wrong with y'all white folks? Y'all don't know how to come in and just wait. Jesus.
No decorum at all, but we the ones with the low IQ.
Do not, hold on, do not. We got a bunch of hands up. You spoke, and we'll get back to you. I promise. I'm going to let you cook, but we need to go ahead and get to these hands that's up as well, too, because you got a lot of people waiting. I will get.
Stay too long, just so you know, but it seems like a lot of people want to address me, so I feel like I should be able to say something if I have to go soon. I'll let you know if I have to go. Though.
Okay, well, yeah, let us know. But
you gotta go, just go. I don't know why you're telling us you gotta go.
Okay, but real quick, guys, stay on your microphone. Let me go ahead and get the crown. Crown, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I wanted using Lyft to address this points, but okay, I'll just address my point. I think these videos that circulate across social media can be interpreted as either race being violent towards each other, but the stats cannot be disproven. I mean, 13.6% of the U.S. Black American population account for 60 to 70% of murder, manslaughter, and homicide within this nation. And uniform crime reports across various states indicate as such. I don't think you can really disprove the stats. But with that being, these are literal FBI statistics. But let's go to the article that Diane wrote, which was published in I think October of 2022, which indicated that anti-Asian violence specifically in New York City, which was really just disgraceful because it's provable by statistics. Black perpetrators accounted for 27.5% of violent attacks against Asian Americans, and Asians commit less than 0.1% of violent attacks against blacks, which indicates little role for proximity for violence against any individual particular race. So this analysis that I can upload on the Jumbotron is very, very published. It's dedicated, and there's a lot of evidence to back it up. I don't understand the claim that, or rather the rebuttal that Black Americans use to disprove these stats, because they're just fundamentally not true.
Sir, real quick before I go to the next speaker, and I'm gonna get to Mark. But let's be honest here. You had an incident that happened at that nail salon shooting, that Asian nail salon shooting. I believe it was a white person that went in there and shot those Asians up. You didn't have the Asian community sitting up here lambasting white people. There have been all kind of crimes. Most of the hate crimes committed against Asian people are at the hands of white people as well too. And while you're talking about the statistics of black people, like I say, it's great that we can go ahead and use a per capita number. But the overall number is that you guys still commit more crime than anybody in this country. You've always committed more crime than anybody in this country. The reason you got this country was through a crime. You stole the country. You killed people. You enslaved people. You colonized people all throughout the world. So to sit up here and act like that, all of a sudden that white people have taken everything and now they're so civilized and they're so laid back and they just want to go ahead and be God-fearing people after you went ahead and stole everything but the kitchen sink and all around the world. You sitting up here. It was white folks that bombed over there in Japan. It was white folks that was fighting Korea and Vietnamese and everything else as well too. So to sit up here, the Philippines, so to sit up here and act like black people have been the ones that have been just crucifying Asians is crazy. Not to mention, let's be for real, all these Asian businesses that's in the black neighborhoods, if it was really a crime spree against Asians, black people would be doing this to them every single, and it wouldn't be no 27 people or this or that, whatever. It'd be hundreds of thousands of cases. You know, Asians make a lot of money out of the black community, whether it's the women, whether it's the food or whatever you're talking about. So to sit up here and act like it's black people that sit up here, but here's the thing, Asians don't say anything about white people. You know, when they're being victimized by white people, it's only when if it's a black person, they say something, but they don't say anything about what's going on with white folks. So to sit up here and say that, you know, black people 13% and this and that or whatever, that's the same thing you do when it comes to public assistance and everything. Well, you know, black people are the vast majority percentage wise of this and that, when there's more white people that be on welfare and housing and everything else as well too. So it's always that we're going to use it per capita because we don't just want to get to the raw numbers, the overall and this and that or whatever. So I find that, you know, hey, I'm not going to say it's disingenuous, but I understand exactly what you're doing. So to sit up here and act like it's been black people that have just, when it was back when you had Frederick Douglass sitting up here, you know, caping for Chinese when they got to this country, you know, when he was nothing more than a damn slave himself, a little more than a slave. It's always been black people that supported Asian businesses and culture and everything else as well too. So to sit up here and act like, you know, black people are just victimizing Asians and this and that left and right, that's complete nonsense. That's complete nonsense. And like I said, even with the affirmative action and stuff like that, you got the Asians, they complain about affirmative action, that it was benefiting black people and this and that. Well, here's the thing. Affirmative action was supposed to be for black people, even though it didn't work out because it ended up going for white women and minorities, Latinos, Asians, Hispanics, and everything else. It was supposed to be for black people. It was supposed to be for the remnants of slavery and Reconstruction and Jim Crow. It wasn't supposed to be for the disabled and the blind and the deaf and the minority coalition. It was supposed to be for one group of people, black people. So we're sitting up here and we're talking about black people, this and that. And I heard this whole thing that, you know, black people couldn't get into they're the reason that they couldn't get into these Ivy League schools and this and that or whatever. I mean, please, this is nonsense, right? This is just a way of trying to pick somebody that you can fight with or whatever, because you know that mainstream America is going to back you. They're going to say you're the model minority, that you come here, you work hard, you don't complain. As compared to the people who came here, worked harder than anybody else, built the damn country for free, didn't get a damn thing given to them. And people sitting up here talking about any little crumb that you might get that every other group in the country gets, because welfare doesn't benefit just black people. Medicaid, Medicare, housing, whatever, does not benefit just black people. You can't name a program that just benefits solely black people. You can't name one. So to sit up here and come up with all this nonsense that they've been talking about, and they sit up here and they prop her up here. Anybody that's anti-black, they sit up here and they prop them up. That's why white folks love Candace Owens as well too, because she just regurgitates what they really want to say. So I find that, you know, humorous to say the least. But thank you, Crown. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get to original Mel. I'm gonna try to get you guys up as well too. Crown, I'm gonna drop you down and I'm gonna bring up some new speakers. But go ahead, Mark. You got it.
I can't even make a rebuttal.
Go ahead and make a rebuttal real quick. Let me hear what you got to say. And please, for that history lesson about how you got America, how you have you have this huge racial wealth gap in this country. Please explain to us exactly the Christian way that you came about all of these riches and everything else in this country, how you was able to get all of this nice land and everything else from being such God-fearing people, never breaking the law, never committing any crimes. Please tell us about that.
All right, to address the stolen land, I mean, that's just complete nonsense, because the Native American tribes were just killing each other for hundreds of years, and this isn't stolen land.
Sir, nobody killed anybody more than y'all did in Europe with your 100-year wars, your crusades, and everything else, your colonization of Africa. Please stop.
What does that have to do with?
The same thing that it has to do with your comment.
No, what does it have to do with?
The same thing your comment has to do with.
Because the Native Americans were killing each other for
irrelevant
hundreds of years, raping each other.
Sir, who did more crime than you guys did? The Native Americans, it was what, 25, 30 million of them here. How after you landed here, what was that population? And we always talking about the environment, even the buffalo. What happened to all of the buffalo and stuff like that? What are you talking about? So y'all didn't rape and kill each other in Europe, is what you're saying?
insinuating that
They were
Europeans
peacefully
murdering each other.
coexisting with nature, which you haven't mastered.
Indians.
Whoever that is, get on your microphone. No, go ahead, Crown, because I'm going to get ready because we got to go ahead and move it around. But go ahead and do your rebuttal since you.
Europeans have been fighting for hundreds of years. Okay, that's absolutely true. But in terms of the so-called "quote unquote" Native American genocide, listen, if absolutely it was a genocide, I don't care. I'm proud of what my ancestors did. Absolutely, I'm proud.
I know you're proud of it. I know you are. That's that Aryan blood in you. I know you're proud.
These guys were disorganized. They were disorganized. They were tribal, poor societies that were mass murdering each other for hundreds of years.
And yet you've gone all across the globe and you've murdered people. Every place that you step foot in, you genocided. So what are you talking about?
That has benefited every.
That hasn't benefited anybody. Had you not gone across the globe and genocided people, people would still be alive. What are you talking about?
Every single country that Europeans stepped foot on only benefited the populace of that nation. All right, with some exceptions.
So then why are Ukraine and Russia going to war right now? If you guys are a benefit.
Russian.
What?
That's separate.
Hey, Rella, do me a favor. Get back on your microphone real quick, Rella. Hey, the Crown, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you go ahead, get your point in here because now this is mumbo jumbo what you're talking about. This is Aryan white supremacist type talk you're talking about. You're sitting up and you're saying that because you butchered people, killed people, murdered people, it's okay because you're a white boy at the end of the day. That's what you're saying.
No, but he'll see that video of that girl and be crying that she got slammed in the head. Like that's something like
That's why nobody's even listening to you. Okay, let me go ahead and your Crown, you went ahead, you said what you had to say. So let me go ahead and get it to let me get to Mark. Mark's sitting up here waiting patiently. Mark, go ahead, unmute your mic.
Yeah, so look, let's say it like this, right? We need to push for segregation. That's the ultimate goal. That's what we must do here. Because we all hate each other, and I don't mind these people being racist as hell. You know what I mean? We should be just as racist as they are.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? And so all this trying to get them to do right by you and all that, they don't. These people weren't born to do right. You're talking about a genetic mistake. You know what I'm saying? Of people. So he doesn't know anything but to be a savage, right? That's his nature. He's no different than you taking your dog, putting on a leash and collar, and walking him. I mean, it's the real shit. And he knows this.
Language, everybody, language.
My bad. So he knows this, and that's what upsets him when he comes into contact with human beings. Beautiful black human beings, makes him hateful. And then have a conversation with him. He's not even a descendant of slave owners. There's nothing that we have to talk to him about, period. At all.
No, he's just poor white trash.
No, but I'm saying we are the problem by having a conversation. That's like you sitting having a humanly conversation with your dog. Who look crazy? You or him? So you don't have no humanly conversation with a savage. You put a leash and collar on him and you walk him. Mentally, you walk him. He knows his place, right? And so when it comes to these Asians, hurt people. We've been wounded in this country. And so whatever happened to them Asians when they come in our community being bloodsuckers, that's on them. Don't come. You know what I mean? We owe you no apology or no explanation. Don't bring your ass over here. Shit, did they see before they came that we hurt each other? So what the hell you thought was going to happen to you? So we don't owe them no explanation. I'm saying to us that we must call for segregation. That's our best time in this country when we were segregated. I live in a segregated city because we all are racist as hell. We don't like each other. And there's nothing that's going to ever be done to change that. And that's what it must be like. That's what must happen all across the country. And until we come into that realization, we'll keep having these conversations. No, it must be segregated. Everybody must stay with their own people. We all are some supremacist motherfuckers. I mean, man, we keep coming.
Hey, language, y'all. Language. Come on now.
Yeah, I got you. We're very supremacist as people. No, Not just them, not just whites, not just Asians. No, we are too. You know. Now let's take it a step further. Segregate, build up our own communities, take care of our own. Instead of putting our children through all this hell, our children go through hell when y'all go and move them into areas where those people don't like them. The hell with you, you grown. Imagine what your children go through. You're trying to force them into a different culture. It's never going to work. I don't care how much education you have, how much money you have, you're going to still deal with these situations that you hiding. A lot of people are hiding that are happening to them when they move to these other areas. And when they come in your area, you be just as racist as they are. Racism must be dealt with racism. Hate must be dealt with hate. And love must be dealt with love. You don't tell your children to love their enemy. What same person tell their children some dumb stuff like that? You gonna put them at a disadvantage? Come on now. Because you're not gonna change what's in their heart. And so you treat people the way that they act. That's all they understand. All that other stuff, when you you talking about it, it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. You take your statues down. It's not gonna change anything.
All right, appreciate that, Mark. Mark, I'm gonna drop you down for a second just so we can bring some other people up. So we'll try to go ahead and get to everybody, and then once everybody speaks, then we'll go ahead and we'll bring you guys back up here as well, too, guys. So because the actual queue is actually is congested. So let me go ahead and get to Amia. Amia, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey there. Everyone else in the space, hope all is well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So just so I'm clear, so rat mouth, COVID having, bat eating Yap, she had a space today?
She had a space on Saturday, I believe it was. Saturday or Friday, I forget. One of those days. Saturday.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then the per capita, I'm trying to get to your title, the per capita black and white girl fight goes viral.
Yeah, well she was talking about the per capita. So that's one title there. That's the her and the per capita, and then you got the black and white girl fight going viral.
Okay, thank you for the update. Sorry if you can't hear me. I've been out the loop a little bit. So I did put in your Jumbotron. It's a third from the left. So back in May, I don't know if y'all remember, back in May of 2023, a little boy named Cyrus Belton was shot and killed by a racist Asian down here in Columbia, South Carolina. So that tweet, it says, once and for all, it's time to put these yellow cowards out of business. We need to bankrupt every Asian business that is in our neighborhoods. This racist has had a history of hate towards his black patrons. And then hashtag Latasha Harlan's, hashtag Cyrus Belton. They have had a history of hate towards us. But the number one scammers and sifters in our neighborhood, it's one thing to have them established in our neighborhood. And that's another for us to try to establish our own businesses in our own neighborhoods, but get red taped while they get the red carpet pulled out for them. We already know that the United States, loves to put the POCs, the minorities, above Black Americans, even though we have paid taxes here in the United States for the longest. And that just goes to show you that the per capita numbnuts and Diane Yap, they go together because they both play into anti-Black American hate. And then to your title, the black and white girl fight goes viral. Well, to that I say, ass shouldn't have squared up. Butt shouldn't have been squared up. Shouldn't have been talking shit, talking mess. So it is what it is. Really great space, and I'll be listening. Take care.
All right, everybody, still with the language, y'all. Still with the language. But Mia, I'm going to drop you down so we can bring another speaker up. But if you want to come back up, just raise your hand. Let me go ahead and get to
Say something 2 seconds. Everybody's getting a purple pill. Purple pill. There you go.
Let me get to the was it Revealer? Revelator.
Can you guys hear me properly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. I just first want to say from the jump, I am on Diane Yap and don't have to be side man. You know, I'm just telling you that right. But first, it really is insane that every single time I've heard a black person come up, like most just racial insults, bad eating, COVID, all this stuff, it's just like, we're just trying to have a conversation. What's with all this racial hate towards these people? It's like if a white person said this, you would call them racist and evil. It's like,
can you give us the definition of racist real quick?
What do you mean?
Give us the definition of what a racist is. Since you stand black people.
Well, if it's prejudice plus power, Asians don't have power over blacks. So,
well, no, I'm not saying who has the power, and I'm not trying to interrupt the conversation. What is the definition of a racist, sir? You can take your time and look it up. Google, do what you got to do real quick. I'm just, for the space content.
Racism is when you believe that your race is superior to others. It has hatred behind that.
Is it?
But nah, that's not what it is, sir.
But what is
so a racist has means and resources to oppress another person. We don't have means and resources. So if you're saying what we're saying, is racist, I think the definition or the correct term will be prejudice. We're not. You could say that, but we're not that either. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all be in y'all spaces saying all types of stuff to us. So, you got your opinion. Go ahead, though.
What did they say to you? What did they say to you that was so... first off...
Okay, the low IQ, your ancestors sold your ancestors, all this other stuff, but you know what it is already. I don't have to explain it.
Can I add something real quick?
No, stay in your mic. Let Revelators talking.
But, I'll just make you this first. First off, that whole thing what she said about the farm equipment, it's like, first off, she's been racially abused for months before she said anything like that. And second off, so much of the stuff you said, how is it different than what she said? How is it different? Calling her out. Every time she spoke, you fetishize white. You're a white supremacist. Say what don't at me. Every time. You don't even give them a chance to speak. It's always insults. It's always the racial insults. You're just cool. You're just blah, 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 blah. It's like, hold on. What's the difference between that and then her saying that? And mind you, she only said that after months of all this insults.
So she never ever before time said anything. I don't know who came off the mic, but you're saying that she never beforehand said anything insensitive or racist about black people until they started talking about her, is what you're saying.
What do you mean by insensitive? What do you mean?
Well, somebody sitting up here saying that you're the dumbest group of people on earth, I would think that would be offensive, no? Forget the farm equipment stuff. If somebody's sitting up here saying that all of the races on the face of the earth, you have the lowest IQ, basically you're the dumbest group on this planet. You don't think that's offensive?
If the thing is though, based on IQ, black people on average have lower IQs than other groups. That's just a fact. It doesn't mean every single black person is dumb. That's not what that means at all.
What about an IQ is absolute?
I'd like to hear your view against Diane.
Please pass the mic.
I'm gonna say this right here because we got people coming off the microphone left and right. Only person that's coming off the microphone is the host. All of the other speakers, stay on your microphone. Okay, stay on your microphone. We will get to you. First off, the damn test that you're talking about, white people came up with it anyways. Am I correct on that? They didn't come up with everything. White people didn't come up with math and science. They sure didn't.
Who came up with biology? Well, why did Asians beat us on our own tests? That's kind of weird.
Who the hell said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Said what?
Just come up here and say y'all don't like black people and let's get to it. All this dancing and probably y'all doing is too much.
I'm gonna say it again. We're gonna control the room, everybody. We'll get to y'all, okay?
The next person, hold on, Revelator. The next person to come up, they might be getting dropped to the shadow run.
if everything, it was so great and stuff like that. Look, y'all came out of Europe because y'all were when y'all came out of the Dark Ages out of necessity. All of these other nations and all these other kingdoms around the world was doing just fine before Europeans came in there and forced their will on them. So let's cut this crap that hey, y'all had to save humanity and all this other nonsense that you're talking about.
Hold on. First off, that's what African kingdoms do.
What?
Where are these, like you're saying there were just all these kingdoms. I'm guessing you're specifically talking about Africa. Of course, the Aztecs existed, the Ming Dynasty, all of these different things. But like, where in Africa were these just like? Well,
I mean, you did have Nubia, you did have Egypt. I know y'all want to whitewash that, but you did have those kingdoms. You had the kingdom of Mali. You had all kind of different kingdoms, not to mention over here in the Western Hemisphere.
My thing is though that many of these people, it's like, and another thing I want to talk about, because you guys like saying that white people are the most murderous group of people. I disagree with that also, but it's like.
So tell me in the last 500-600 years, who has globally murdered more people than white people? Let's remember World War I, World War II. Let's remember all of the situations over there in the Middle East. Let's look at Russia, Ukraine. Now, tell me, and not to mention, let's look at the colonization of Africa, Australia. You went ahead and you just destroyed people over there and on what was that, New Zealand? So tell me, out of all these places in the world, out of Asians, blacks, and whites, who went in the last 500 years and murdered more people globally?
I'll answer that question, but I'll ask you this.
No. Don't ask me anything. Answer what I just asked you. Okay. Thank you.
I'll gladly do it, but 1 second. The only reason you say that is because Europeans, those other people didn't even have the written language. First off,
there you go.
You didn't even know how many people they killed. How could you, people think they're killing each other en masse. There's so many cultures. It's literally.
They didn't have boats. They didn't have guns. Exactly.
That Europeans didn't invent boats. Now I know, you're a big European upper, but the Europeans that weren't the ones that created boats. They didn't create guns, to be real, if you want to be honest. So I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
They did create guns.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Did the Asians not create the gunpowder? Okay, so they really created the guns, because there are no guns without gunpowder.
No.
Yeah.
No. First off, yes, they have uses for
What came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the chicken or the egg?
I mean, it depends on what you believe. I'm a Christian, so I believe chicken. That's not chicken. Egg. What's your argument?
Okay, listen. What's your point? Because we got to move on. Come on.
First, I want to say this right now. I'm Nigerian. Okay? I live in America.
You say you're what now?
I'm Nigerian.
Okay. I mean, I can kind of hear, y'all, a lot of y'all, and it's not all of y'all, but too many of y'all over there, because you have those white Jesuses standing up in the middle of your cities and stuff like that, and y'all pray and this and that, whatever. When they came over there and they started bringing them Bibles, colonizing y'all and stuff like that, telling you that the only way the salvation was this white Jesus, y'all jumped on y'all damn knees, too many of y'all, and gave away your own traditional religion.
Yes, those horrible religions that really led to people mass murdering each other, cracking people's skulls because they think gold is inside them. Those things deserve to die.
And how many millions of people been killed when they came over there and they started colonizing? How many people did Leopold kill over there in the Congo? Okay, man, get your dumb get out of here, man. Get out of here. I'm not playing. I'm not. This is not pin the tail on a dumbass tonight.
Hey, bro, you live in Virginia, so how you say you're Nigerian? Well, ask your ancestors why they fled and then stay and fight.
Yeah, you know
that was racist, DJ.
Yeah, you're not even. I don't even want to hear that. And the other one, do not. I mean, he's about to trip over his feet to help. Rella, go ahead, Rella. And matter of fact, before I get to you, Rella, I'm gonna get to the new speakers.
I'll wait.
Let me get to
What you laughing?
Matter of fact, I'm gonna get to the new speakers. Hold on, do not, because you was caping really hard for your boy here, and I know you're another one that believes in the black people. Even though you black, I know you believe that as a group we have the brain size of a juju bee or something like that as well too. So go ahead in the space and tell everybody. Go ahead in the space and let everybody know exactly how inferior our minds are as a group of people. Of course, we do have one or two of those exceptional niggas in our group. So explain that to everybody up in here.
Can I speak before a second before he goes silent?
No, let this, because I want him to tell us exactly how inferior we are, but we do have an exceptional nigga or two within the black community and within the black group. So, you know, we're all, even though as a group our IQ is lower, but we do have that exceptional nigga somewhere in our bloodline. So do not go ahead, because I know you and Diane are like bosom buddies or whatever. So go ahead and break it down for us.
He the exception to Negro, that's what he said.
Well, no, I'm not very exceptional at all. But exceptional people are rare in any group, so there's that. This isn't what I wanted to talk about, but if that's the way it takes for me to speak, then I guess.
Well, the reason I put you up here, because I know when your boy the Revelator was sitting up here and you and I know, and hold on, I know you jumped in when he started talking about, when we talked about, it's crazy now, like, because I when I was listening to that space, you said that black people make excuses for Jim Crow committing crimes, and they make excuses for slavery and this and that. So when I started talking about the historical and the world history of Europeans' colonization and all of the deaths and the murder and everything that went along with that, first thing this cat started saying, well, you know, we had guns, and I heard you chime in, yeah, you didn't have boats, and you didn't have this and that or whatever. So you pretty much, you cool. You seem like you were pretty cool with them going around the world colonizing people and stuff like that, because quote unquote they had guns and boats. So I just want to hear what you got to say about that.
I don't think it was cool at all. I think colonization was not a good idea. I think it was wrong if they did. So there's that. But I do think, can I finish? I said one sentence. I said one sentence. Let me finish. So there's that. So we said that. We got that straight, right? I'm not okay with colonization, right? But I don't think it was uniquely evil. That's the difference. I don't like when people point to that and compare something like that to interpersonal societal violence, where people can't just get along and within their own neighborhood. Wars are not unique to white people. Colonizing is not unique to white people. Somebody said that they committed a crime to get this country. Who against who? There was no law against colonization in America.
Native people.
Oh, they did that to each other all the time. Like, that's just such an ignorant view of history.
So therefore, being it is still wrong, right? Because they came from another country and did it. So it's
wrong, is what I'm saying.
So you have to have a law in place. If somebody's been living in a place for hundreds of years, and hold on, you saying so you need to have a law. So people living here for 100 years, you come over here, these people allow you that they come over here and get pieces of land and settle and stuff like that. But you say, damn that, I want it all. So you saying there's nothing wrong with just taking it by force.
I didn't say that. I just said before.
Well, you said it because I've heard this before when you start having Europeans and stuff talk about, well,
it wasn't a crime like you said it was.
It was a crime. It was a crime against humanity.
You don't understand the difference between something being illegal and something being unethical.
Why wasn't it illegal? Because white people said it wasn't at the time, because they didn't have a paper saying that this wasn't a what's the word? Well, go ahead.
There's a difference between something being illegal and something being unethical. What they did was unethical. It was not illegal. They did not have these written laws the way that you're used to understanding laws. Like, that isn't how things work back then. The guy didn't do a great job explaining it.
Thou shalt not kill.
God. The Native Americans used to do the same things to each other too. It wasn't illegal. But we can look back now with our newfound ethics and say that this was unethical, yes. But it wasn't unique for people to colonize people and to wipe them out completely. But that was how you got land back then. It wasn't like, oh, well, you know, here, we're just being nice. That's not how things work. Like, that's just not human history.
So basically you're saying that there was no sovereign nation over here, so they could do as they damn well please, is what you're saying.
I didn't say they can just do as they damn well please. That's not the way I'm characterizing it. That's how
well, you're saying that there was no law to prevent this and that. So I'm assuming that if this was an actual, let's say that America at the time was a sovereign nation, then if they came over here and just took total control, then that would have been breaking the laws, what you're saying, right?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought so. So basically, when a white person creates something, then it becomes the actual law and the word of the land.
Did you know that Native Americans in a lot of areas, they didn't have a word for the word rape? It just wasn't. It didn't exist because it didn't exist as a concept. It was just what you did. The point is that you can't look at things back then and compare them to how you view them now. That's what you're not understanding. And what you also aren't understanding is the fact that, these other people didn't go around the world and do what they did. They went around where they could go and do what they did. They went to the places that they could go and annihilate people and take over and kill them. It had nothing to do with morality that other people didn't do these things. It had everything to do with their ability. That's what you need to understand about this.
So what was the word?
We can look back and see that the tech just was not there to do this. But we can also see that in those places there were wars and plenty of killings.
So
Nobody said that there wasn't wars and plenty of killings. No, nobody didn't say that because you had that going on in Europe. But it seems to me that you're trying to excuse and you're acting like something like, because if it wasn't that bad, then why are they giving Native Americans? Why did they go ahead and start giving them reparations to a certain degree? If it wasn't that bad.
Exactly. That's the unique thing about what they did, is that they're the only people that you've ever seen apologize like that. That's what's unique about it.
Sweet Jesus. Are you serious, dude? Are you serious?
You're not a professor and you are not in nobody's college. At the end of the day, what you're doing is spreading misinformation in the narratives that you're picking up. Tony, do you follow Tommy Sotomayor? I really do believe there are
Yeah, Tommy was in that space too. He was in that space.
Because you believe that it's proven because that's how you conceptualize it and want to actually spew it back to the space. It is improper. It is improper for you to get in this space to say you cannot quantify what happened back then to compare it to today when you just literally classified rape of back then as rape. First of all, if you can look at and read historical records, which is why they have studies of different historical maps and different locations. No, because that's what you just said. At the end, I don't care how you want to categorize it now. You literally just said
Okay, we got too many people talking. Rella, get back on your mic real quick. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you a minute. Do not because man, you are really really caping pretty hard here, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you because basically there's nothing that now you can point out why black people need to take accountability, why black people need to stand up and stop making excuses and this and that or whatever. But all of the historical injustices that not only black people but the entire world has dealt with over the past 500-600 years, you're sitting up here and you're excusing it. You don't know whether people had the ability at one time or another to travel all throughout the world. And from what people said, you have actual records and stuff of people saying that, hey, this person traveled here, this person traveled there. There's stuff about people traveling all over, from China traveling to the east coast of Africa and vice versa. So to sit up here and say, you know what, these people, they colonized the world, but there was nothing against colonization and this and that, and it really wasn't that bad. And I mean, come on, dude. Like you say, you can sit up here and you can talk about black people and this and that or whatever, committing crimes, and you can do the per capita and all this other kind of stuff. And then, like I said, when I broke down the actual how many people in the past 500 years with the world wars and all these other wars and everything else, all of these conflicts that went on, all of these damn races and people, groups of people over there in New Zealand and stuff, totally wiped out. You got an excuse for that. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna give you a minute to go ahead and land it, and then we got to move on to the next speaker, bro. Unmute your mic.
The thing that stuck out the most was when you were talking about how other people could have done that. We have proof of it. I don't know what proof you're referring to, but the weaponry, the ability to travel, the cohesion, that was not there for everybody else, not to the same degree. And so what you'll see is that these people did do conquering. Like, they did plenty of conquering. The Arab slave trade. How do you think Islam got its way to West Africa? Think they just sat down and had tea and discussed religion together? Like, no.
Some of the Arabs over there, they got it by force, and some of them actually, initially at one time, some of them were actually in partnership with each other before they stabbed them in the back.
Okay, yeah, sure, believe that. Go look it up.
But them white folks, they wouldn't stab anybody in the back though, would they?
It was wrong too. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that what they did was okay. You're not listening. I'm not justifying it. It was unethical. But your statement that it was illegal is incorrect. We're having an intellectual debate. It's important to be accurate about the things.
I said that they stole the land from the people. I said they stole the land from the people. Hold on, Rella. Hold on. I said that they stole the land from the people, which is true.
Got the land via a crime. That was what I was saying.
What year are you speaking about? Because again, you're having a circular conversation where you're trying to debunk everything that Newstoter is saying, and you're not even utilizing the years, times, dates, and eras that you're talking about. So when you start talking about colonization, what was classified as legal, not legal, they didn't have the laws. Can you please provide again the years and times that you are speaking of? Because again, you're all over the place, and then you're trying to make it seem like as if we are unclear about the timeline of what has happened to lead us to where we are today. And it's very improper that you sit in a room full of people who can actually misrepresent per capita information based on FBI statistics, and then you want to carry on with them and then come in here and act like you Billy Badass, excuse my language, Newstoter, Billy Bad, Mr. I'm going to school the whole entire room, when that is not your forte. You are not a professor, nor are you seen like a teacher. You are just someone like everybody else that came on this app, but you decided to somehow segue yourself with Diane Yap, or whatever her name is, and the rest of the white supremacists that followed you into this room. You want to have a liked platform, followed numbers, people to follow you while you sit up here and spread misinformation, because white people like people like you. They love people they love people that sit in the gray. They like people that sit in the gray area. You sit in the gray area so you don't have to be the target of how they actually feel about black people in America or around the world. I don't like people who misuse information, and I don't like people who actually misuse, because what you did earlier was you took medical statistics and you try to paint that as the reason why there was that Asians like Diane Yap has a stance to talk about black people attacking Asians instead of debunking what she said. You cannot use medical information that has not been proven. Medical information is not on FBI statistics. Medical information is not even utilized to say these are the people who are committing crimes. And then when I challenged you, you turned around and said it read verbatim from the NIH and said, oh, well, it says the statistics is for Europeans, when the conversation was about Asians like Diane Yap using misinformation. And that article that she wrote that old boy was pulling from, that was back in 2018. I saw that. That's the reason why I brought up the USCCR. She was kicked off the panel because if you go to C-SPAN, they talked about it. That's why her ass was kicked out of Harvard. And so people want to, like you again, you want to keep staying in the gray area so you can host your little spaces and get your little likes from the crowd of whiteness. Go ahead. But we're not playing them games. If you're going to be in this and you're going to be about black people, talk about us, you and Tony Sotomayor, you better make sure you have your facts right, because people like me, we're going to be watching and we listening. You don't, because of...
Okay, real quick, because we're going to move it on. But I see Diane. She's actually in the space. She's at the bottom of the screen. So, Diane, if you want to come up here and speak, you're more than welcome to speak as well, too. I know you have a lot to say about black people in particular and about how bad they do the Asian community. Last I saw, Asians make billions of dollars off the black community. So, apparently, they're not doing them too bad. So you're more than welcome to come up here. I know you got a couple of your folks came up in here and they were they were going to teach us about about everything or whatever, about European law and all this other stuff as well too. But feel free. I saw you at the bottom of the screen. If you want to come up here and speak as well too, we will make space for you to come up here and speak as well too. But I'm gonna do not I need to go ahead and move on. Rella, I need to move on. Let me go ahead and get to the next speakers that's waiting up here patiently. Let me go ahead and get to original, not the regular original here, but the original with the blue original Womb Man. Let me go ahead and get the original Womb Man, and we're gonna move it around.
Hi everyone. So I wasn't in Diane Yap's space. I wasn't aware that she had a space, but I wouldn't have gone in anyways because she's irrelevant. But to the title, we have over 400 years of shared history with these individuals. And so 350 of those years was characterized by a one-directional onslaught of violence, domestic terrorism, lynching, economic deprivation, economic disenfranchisement. They bombed our communities, flooded our communities. These are self-sustained Black communities. They've extracted billions of wealth from our communities subsequent the 248 years. Subsequent the 248 years of free labor. And so that was all acquired wealth. And it's actually something very cruel and unusual about taking acquired wealth from those who have been enslaved in perpetuity for 248 years. So there's something very, because you already extracted wealth generationally for 240 years. But then you went further and you stole wealth in a century time frame. So there's something very cruel and unusual about that. And so we know that if this nation really wanted to investigate harms or get down to whatever they're claiming is the basis for the modern day stats, then they would investigate that first, right? They would investigate all of the atrocity aforementioned. Now, these stats, though, I know they're for them. The per capita stats, they're for them. It's like a narcissist that's trying to recharacterize themselves. It's weird because then you have all of these immigrant populations that have been cycled through here. And if you objectively analyze that same 400-year period, you will find that there were Europeans coming here. There were, so you have the Irish, the Italians, the Asians. You have these different groups that are cycling in here, and they're all bystanders to the oppression of the American Negro people. And so the conversation is not whether or not genocide has a unique harm. It was uniquely occurring. But if the conversation is that we are uniquely violent, then we must reference the 400 years of shared history. We'll have to go beyond the stats. Those stats don't benefit us as a lineage. I don't know what Diane Yap's function is in the community. I had an experience with her where I was being antagonized by a Chinese person on the app. And she made one of my posts go viral because I had posted where the Chinese were getting caught with dogs in their car. Dogs that they were going to consume and sell in their businesses. And so I posted that as a response to the racial antagonism that I was receiving. And she put it up to act like I was anti-Asian, when literally all of this is a response to their Negrophobia. And so they don't deviate from script. Negrophobia is the most pervasive idea in this nation since its inception. Prior to you, melanated humans are the original human, okay? And with that being said, you melanated humans have the ability to give birth to a pale-skinned human. So I always ask them, can you point me in the direction of the white indigenous populations? Can you show me where you have a single white progenitor, right? Now, that question, I know the answer to that. It has no answer. White is a social construct. There's no such thing as a white person. They have a pale skin allele, and they're actually also a hybrid. That's what that Neanderthal ancestry is. So with that being said, I can't even indulge them on the racial antagonism either, because I know that if you're a hybrid and you've had the shortest lived existence on the planet, then that means that everything existed before you, including the math and sciences that were introduced to global humanity by you melanated humans. So that's a fact. It refutes all of the bullshit. That's why I said, show me where IQ is absolute, meaning show me where it wasn't something that came out of the constructing of a white identity that is fairly new. It's not absolute. You can't go back to ancient times and, number one, find white people. You can't do that. But number two, you can't go back to ancient times and find an IQ test. Okay? But you can go back to ancient times. You can find chemistry. Physics exists. The chemists that made chemistry, you can find all of those things. You can't find the IQ test, though. And I don't have conversations with people about ancient humanity who weren't in ancient history. You melanated human is an indicator that we are an ancient people. So whatever they tried to call us here, these misnomers that were applied to our group, we are an ancient people. And so it's up to us to have those conversations. And I don't overvalue their perspective on things. I'm glad that I was able to bypass here. My phone had broke. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to the hands. Let me go ahead and get to I think original is next. Go ahead, original.
Stay in the queue, y'all. Y'all want to speak? Stay in the queue. Share the room out.
Yeah, okay. Y'all have already shared the room out. You know, Newstoter, I hear this stuff about when they're saying that Black Americans attacking Asians more than any other group. And this is an article that is dated June 15, 2021. It's by a Kimi Yam, and it's this professor, Janelle Wong, a professor of American Studies at the University of Maryland, College Park, released analysis last week that drew over previously published studies on anti-Asian bias. She found official crime statistics and other studies reveal more than 3/4 of offenders of anti-Asian hate crime and incident from both before and during the pandemic have been white, contrary to many of the images circulated online. So what these people are doing is they're making up their own analysis, just as that IQ test is made up. That IQ test doesn't prove anything. And so I just want to share, and I did post this article in the chat, so anyone that wants it can go in and get it. But I just had to read that because you have some below stupid people that want to come at us as if we are the worst thing on the planet. And like it was said earlier, if Black people were committing all these anti-Asian hate crimes, why don't you see that in the Black community? They don't have a response for that. But that article is in the chat. I just want to read that, and I'm going to drop down and let someone else come up who want to come up.
All right, appreciate that, original. Appreciate that. Let me go to Mel was up here, but Mel's not up here. Let me get to the black caller. The black caller, go ahead and unmute your mic, and then I got you, Ray.
Did you mean blue collar?
Is that blue collar? Oh, okay, the blue collar. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Blue collar intellectual. All right. So I can't, I'm a radical Republican, but I can't stand false crime stats. That white boy is all wrong.
All right, I'll read the aggregated stats. I wrote this in 2022 to debunk that 13% equals 53% of the nation's homicides. I wrote this in 2022. So the numbers have changed a little bit.
Hey, Blue Collar, could you get off your Bluetooth or maybe roll a window up so you got the feedback in your background?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it sounds much better. Go ahead.
So I wrote this in 2022 to debunk those crime stats. I'm a conservative Republican, but I can't stand the fucking lying of the little whites in my family.
Hey, no cursing, y'all. But go ahead. No cursing, but go ahead.
All right. So, United Federal Bureau of Crime Statistics, I aggregated these stats from the crime statistics, FBI stats, victim survey, and gang stats, along with gun crime. All right. So, United States Federal Bureau of Investigation tracks rate of reported violent crimes per 100,000 U.S. inhabitants. The timeline above rates show that starting in 1990, the rate of reported violent crimes has fallen since a high of 758.20 reported crimes in 1991 to a low of 363.6 reported violent crimes in 2014. In 2022, there are roughly 1.23 million violent crimes reported to the FBI in the United States. This number can be compared to the total number of property crimes, roughly 6.51 million that year. Of violent crimes in 2022, there were 893,980 aggravated assaults, making this offense the most common violent crime amongst offenses. At the time, the black population in the United States was approximately 43 million people, which means if black people as a group commit 53% of violent crime as asserted, that only accounts for approximately 0.15% of the black population. If you don't solve for the block of individuals committing these crimes come from less than a third of the black population and universally suffer from the following circumstances: single mother households with no male presence in their lives, and that includes mentors, grandfathers, uncles, anything, older siblings, whatever. No high school degree, underage drug and alcohol use, abuse from a parent, poverty, and bad influences in their community. If you research across the entire prison population, you find the exact same scenarios across every single race without fail. And it doesn't account for repeat offenders. So when you go over crime stats, I did this to break it down even further. There's at the height of gang affiliation in the United States is approximately 1 million gang members in the U.S. At the height of blacks' affiliation with gangs was 34%. That's 340, and I rounded up for everything to make the numbers nice and easy. That's approximately 340,000 gang members. There were approximately 30,000 gun deaths per year. Subtract the accidental deaths and suicides, and it dropped the number down to about 12,000 when I wrote this. So if each gangbanger killed one person, that's 12,000 gangbangers out of a population of 43 million black people. Even if you were to take that 12,000, divide the 340,000, you don't even get 1%. So what you're really seeing is a highly focused number of, and that's not accounting for repeat offenders, for guys who rack up multiple bodies, for guys who keep getting let out of prison, even though they never should have. That doesn't include a whole bunch of shit. Doesn't include domestic violence, doesn't include self-defense, crimes of passion, any of that shit. So what you really have is a very, very small number of less than 1% of black people racking up bodies like Navy SEALs and Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. So the crime stats don't make any fucking sense.
Hey, I keep telling y'all, this is being streamed on YouTube. Please, with the profanity, everybody. I know everybody's passionate, they want to speak or whatever, but I know we can articulate without cursing as well too. I've said I don't know how many times a night, and we keep getting the cursing. Please go ahead and just speak without cursing.
My bad. I'm sorry about that. But these crime stats don't make any sense from the Lily Whites and the party. And the only reason they use these crime stats is as an excuse to turn away black voters and to justify their complete avoidance of the black community as a whole. Because the establishment of the party has not wanted to reach out to black voters since the Lily White movement took over the party shortly after its founding, after Frederick Douglass had died and was no longer a main staple of the party. These stats, and I'll even go into the IQ for a minute. At best, an IQ test shows pattern recognition and spatial recognition and problem solving ability. And we've already had multiple scientific studies that have shown that highly educated individuals who have children together create more highly educated individuals who score high on the IQ test. This also goes through kids whose parents have a predilection towards the math and sciences. Their children are also highly likely. So when you have a population starved out from educational resources and the ability to climb up the ladder due to access to proper educational materials and infrastructure, you get a large group of people having babies who have you get a large group of people with low IQs having babies with other people with low IQs, which is why you see an overrepresentation of low IQ people in the black community, because we've been starved out from resources. This doesn't mean unintelligent. It just means we don't score high on that test. And it's because the group within the black community that has the most babies is not the most educated group within the black community. And that holds true across all populations worldwide, that the most educated people consistently have fewer and fewer children, period. So these people coming into this space and lying and throwing out all these false stats about IQ and crime stats and stuff like that, I get pissed, because you know what? When we look at economic stats, they have no problem being able to differentiate between the raw unemployment data and the U6 number of people who dropped out of the labor market. So if you can properly delineate between those two different numbers, you should be able to read stats very plainly and see that the same way all white people are not guilty for slavery, all black people are not guilty for black on black crime or black on white crime or black on anybody crime, because the 43 million, now presently 50 million black people in the United States, most of which have, the vast majority of which, like over 99%, have had no criminal history. Period. All right, that's my mic drop. Thank you for letting me speak, y'all. I put the post down in the bottom so that people can see it, so you can read over the stats.
All right, appreciate it. Let me give a shout out to Elmira too. She donated on Venmo. Shout out to Sister Elmira. Shout out to earlier brother Moku as well, too, guys. We definitely need that support. So hit that Cash App. It's close to 200 people were up in here. So definitely hit that Cash App. $sign Newstoter. $sign Newstoter. Support black-owned business. Support black media. $sign Newstoter. $sign Newstoter. If you ain't got Cash App, we got the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Same for my people listening over there on YouTube. Cash App, $sign Newstoter, $sign Newstoter, Venmo, PayPal in the description. If you guys get a chance, got the membership, it's up in the Jumbotron. Support the platform. You can support it monthly for as cheap as $1.75, guys. Become a subscriber, become a actual member to the Newstoter platform. Let's build this black media so we can make this content go viral, so we can make these stories go viral. So if you're not going to support on Cash App, think about supporting and becoming a member of Newstoter. Let me go ahead and get to oh shoot, who's next? Is Original still up there? Or did Original go?
I think he dropped down.
Yeah, Original stepped down. I think it was Sister I Am, and then new
Black Band all right here too.
Okay, brother Moku, I know you had your hand up. Did you want to say something real quick? Are you good?
Yeah, I always take notes, and I have about a good 5 points to write down, and it's kind of to what everybody has been speaking to, and I can go right through them real quick, or I mean, it ain't really response based, but I'll start with one. I always hear black people in these Korean corner stores and shit up here in places up here where I'm at in Baltimore, and they're always calling the Korean women ma. So I don't see no Asian or no black on Asian crime, and what I call that is evidence. Okay, I only base my stuff off evidence. So I'm with you, Negro, on that. I don't see no influx of black people ever harming Asians ever here in Baltimore. We buy their subs, we buy their chicken boxes, we buy their poisonous half and halves, and we contribute to their children's education. So I don't want to hear no black on Asian crime. Second, when people talk about these stats and stats that you get from Google and you get from all these white platforms, I want people to understand your stats are cooked, okay? That's why we're saying they're irrelevant, because we're going off of evidence, off of proof. Have a sister up here, Aunt La, whose nephew is being damn near murdered in these jails, and it ain't black people that's controlling the jails, okay? There may be a lot of black people and immigrants working in them as CEOs and stuff like that, but best believe they're not in control of it. So your stats are cooked. And when you're talking about stats being cooked, on top of that, and you're talking about criminals, and we're talking about who the real criminals are, you cannot negate the FDA, WHO, the CDC, the FBI, the CIA, and all of these race soldier departments. Okay, you can't negate or say, oh, that's just part of history or part of being so-called civilized. We've never lived in a civilization. Okay, as long as white supremacy was in place, and even back then, if you want to take it to the days of Alexander of Macedonia, Philip of Macedonia, and the Vikings and the Romans and the Greeks who slaughtered, that wasn't the way of nature. Okay, they were taught by somebody. The Greeks were taught by people. Okay, and they defied them people. But if you don't do all of the research that's available, you will come up with incompetent things like I've been hearing from most of these people. And you can't negate the medical apartheid, the Tuskegee experiments, how they abruptly stopped it, no investigation, who they injected syphilis to in our community. That didn't happen to white people or suspected white supremacists. That happened to black people specifically. Now I'm gonna ask you, is that something called black privilege? I'll move on to number 3. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about crimes, you know what I'm saying, and I hear all these people talking about, white people not responsible for racism, white supremacy, bro. Y'all talking about under the guise of justified killings. What is a justified killing? Okay, a good kill. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Suspected white supremacist or collaborator of such. You know what I'm saying? We have to be real with all these things. And white people are the most violent, according to history, according to the evidence. Yes, like Newstoter said, the taking of lands, the taking of lives, the taking and wiping out of generations. Come on, they inserted themselves in the pharaohship, but none of y'all want to go that far. Y'all want to say that was savage civilizations. Y'all whites did so much good for us. Okay? Well, then you bring it to point number 4. If you want to, white supremacists are so arrogant, proof of y'all just have to brag. So I'm gonna give you some speaking points, and I hate educating white supremacists, because white supremacists are the smartest in the room. He just asked the question of one of these white supremacists that I put out of the room, just asked the question earlier, well, what civilizations are you talking about? Then he named the Ming Dynasty. You know the goddamn answer. Excuse my French, because this is a recorded space. But you know the answer. See, white supremacists always try to trick the victims into educating them when they really know the answers. Well, you really want to know the answers, look up the book of Maccabees, the historical account of how white supremacy was put in place, the 500-year plan that started white supremacy that we suffer from today. And it's not about who is the most violent. We already know who the most violent is. But the topic of the matter is about your ability to harm us. When you have race soldier departments in place in every state harming us around the clock, confusionary tales and all. This is white supremacy. So I don't want to hear that black people are the most violent. We are the most reactive to the violence. You could say that. I'll take that one, because we're always being violated. In the medical offices, we're being violated. In the dentist offices, we're being violated. Hell, in our own goddamn military, we're being violated. We're committing suicides at the highest rates in the military on military vessels. Roosevelt, USS Washington, come on, George Washington. You want stats? Come on. You learn the stats. You already know the stats. Suspected white supremacist or collaborator of such. I'm serious with my language, and we all need to start being serious with this language. And I'm going to end with this last point, number 5, and I'll repeat it again. All white people are responsible for slavery. Even the ones that say they so-called didn't stand for slavery, you so-called abolitionists and all of them. Look, slavery still exists. Racism, white supremacy still exists. So if you were so-called against it, it wouldn't exist today. So stop with all that BS talk, all that talk about all white people ain't guilty. All white people are guilty until white supremacy does not exist. Period. I land there. Thank you for letting me speak, and I'll go back to close. I'll mute my mic, man.
All right. Let me give a shout out real quick to Miss Nichols and EHZ for their contribution on Cash App. We're gonna hit up the last few.
I'm sorry, and I did want to end with this. Race classification is only in place to practice racism, white supremacy. The white supremacists are in control, and they are the race classifiers. My mother never told me I was part of a race. My father never did either. But you know who did? The white supremacists when I filled out my first application. I land there. Sorry, Newstoter, for interrupting.
No problem. We're gonna hit the last few speakers up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna hit the last 6 speakers up for the night. We're not gonna take any new speakers, guys. We're gonna close it out after that. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the Black Vanguard. Then we're gonna get the Trouble, and then we're gonna swing it around, guys. After the Black Vanguard and Trouble, since everybody else spoke up here, we're gonna give you a couple minutes, and then we're gonna be closing it out for the night. Black Vanguard.
Your hand ain't up, so just double check. We'll go ahead.
Black Vanguard, go ahead, unmute your mic.
Yeah, so Diane Yap, though, I know she's from like Taiwan. She talked about that. I remember she did a space talk about how Black Americans are criminals, how people this and that. And it's our good brother, a lot of people point that out too, is that we don't have no mafias, no cartels, no syndicates, though. We don't own no boat, shit's planes, yachts, no submarines, though. They got whole mafias like the trials, the Yakuzas. I go to Hawaii all the time. Out there, Hawaii, the Japanese and the Chinese, they got all types of human trafficking arenas going on, especially in the massage parlors and the brothels, the nail salons. They do all types of prostitution and massage brothels over here. Then the Chinese bring a lot of fentanyl over here from Mexico and into the U.S. though, so they do all types of heinous stuff. They come over here, cannibalism. So what they do over here ain't nothing compared to what we do. And also, they talk about the Asians, that we got Asian businesses all in the Black community. The Asians, though, they can't go to the white communities, open up a successful business in the white community, though. The white folks allow them to open up businesses like that in the community. You only see a very, very small percentage of Asian businesses in the white community. Like all the Chinese, all the poison Chinese food restaurants. I don't know if you eat a rat, cat, and dog. They put all the Chinese food restaurants and Korean liquor stores in the Black community. And we support them, though, which that's change about to stop, too.
and we the ones send their kids to college and schools. During the World War II, when Hitler put the Japanese in internment camps in America, it was us that supported the Japanese people about getting reparations in World War II. And when they dropped that bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II, it was us that supported the Japanese. Though they was able to rebuild their whole country because they had Black Americans and everything. So we always stood on the side of righteousness and justice, though. So we saying too is that we done fight for violence. We focus on ourselves, and these people is scared because you got people like Diane Yap who subscribe to white supremacist stuff. But when we check her, she gets mad when we start checking their and her culture. Then the white supremacists, I'm gonna talk about these Europeans. The Europeans, they one of the most savagest people on the face of the planet. Like you go like these. I've been in Europe. You got all types of white mafia groups over there, like the Italian mob, the Albanian mob, Serbian mob, the Romanian mob. They do all types of acts where they go. Then you go to certain parts, like in Eastern Europe, in certain parts of Italy and Germany, they do cannibalism too over here. It ain't just Africa, the Caribbean, and Asia. They do cannibalism over here in Europe right now to this day. In Germany, in Albania, Serbia. So there's nothing but deflection when they talk about themselves. We got over 50,000 inventions and patents, and we got more than that though. They never talk about. So the reason why they bringing all these immigrants over here is because they trying to replace our population numbers though. But we actually fighting back to see a lot of them Asians. It wasn't us that fought against affirmative action. People that benefit from affirmative action the most is mostly white people, and Asians second. We at least people that benefit from affirmative action. So that's all I gotta say too is that they slapping themselves in the foot. And that's why they scared too, because that affirmative action. Now you got the Asians trying to say they're trying to get back inside of the Supreme Court, not denying them they right to get inside these missions. Also, I'm gonna talk about is that Asians don't have a high IQ in white folks. They got all the types of cheating and scams and going all over those two. They had a scandal in USC called a varsity scandal when the rich white folks paid 8 people over $150,000 to get inside these schools. Same thing to Asians. They cheat their way into these elite universities, though. And that's statistically proven. There's articles running on it. That's all I got to say.
All right, appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter. Hope everybody is well. Shout out to the Black family up in the cut, to the co-host, DJ, Brother Moo, and everybody down up in here. Rella.
How you doing?
Hey there. I see Black down there. Shout out to everybody. I'm going to try not to be long-winded. Everybody's pretty much hit on all the points that I had wanted to say. This is why I kind of sat back in the wings a little bit, because y'all was pretty much cooking up in here. Brother Moo came through just now and finished and pretty much put the cherry on top. And so just speaking, I guess, to the titles, I seen that room yesterday with Frog Lady. I'm not even sure if she's inside the United States. She's just a provocateur at this point to me. There's all of these proxies of white supremacy, as the reparationist perspective always call them, these Crayola supremacists that latches on to white supremacy because they're all under the impression that they're next in line for that throne. But you're just a tool, and tools get used and, replaced all the time. So when I seen her space yesterday, I just pretty much reposted it just as a reminder. I was hoping our people didn't go up in there because these are some time wasting, energy stealing, demonic forces that I really wish we would learn to stay away from, because none of the narratives that they put out about our people are anything based on truth. What it is that these people need something to make themselves feel better about their own degeneracy within their own cultures, even though they fled here, and somehow make themselves feel as if they're not a part of the culture which they fled from. When you look at the countries and the places which these people came from, it's totally degenerative. And even if it's not totally that, then it's something to make you not want to be there and be here. Because maybe you fed into the American cream, you feel like it applies to you, and so you're willing to be a footstool for supremacy in order to get your paper. And then the Negro slayers that they have co-host in their rooms, they're really the big disappointment, because I don't care if you're an American Black or if you're a Black from another nation, just for you to even be sitting in their rooms on a co-host spot, being their Negro slayer. I get the grift. You like the little pats on the head. You like the little belly rubs, butt smacks. You like the likes, the click likes, and maybe somebody will swing something to your Cash App and tell you, hey, you're not like the rest of them, and you're one of the good ones because you agree with our tomfoolery. And then you get into spaces with the rest of the Black family, and I don't believe in colorization, and you contradict yourself every sense of the way, and it is tiring. That's why I say we got to stop going in these people's rooms, giving them our space, because our energy. Because that's what they want to steal. They want to steal our energy, and they need our numbers. They want our numbers from us coming inside of their rooms and wasting our time. So we got to get away from that. The per capita thing is whack. You could tell these people, okay, 100 people did A, B, and C, and 75 of the 100 was white. 10 of the people who did it was Black, and they'll still holler about some freaking per capita. When you're looking at the raw numbers, they seem to forget that oftentimes when these numbers are being reported from departments across the country, that when they do their crime stats, the only thing that the FBI or whomever requires is at least 60% of the nation to report in. And we all know that these departments, from department to department, don't exactly have accurate numbers, accurate data, accurate anything. And if you're only using 60% of numbers across the board, then you're still missing 40% across the board. And who's to say that 40% doesn't belong to you? Who's to say that some of the 60% that they attribute to us isn't you? Because they have been caught on multiple times saying that somebody was white was actually Black. They reported them as being Black when they were actually white. So let's get off of that. We all know the system that we're under. We don't need to keep explaining these things to these people because they don't care. They're not listening. They know the truth. They can't handle the truth. They don't like the truth. They rather feed themselves lies because they live their whole lives with rose-colored glasses on. And Black folks, we live in a sense of reality that cannot be explained to these people because they could never comprehend what it's like to live in reality. That's why when things like COVID took place, we was able to really just kind of click in and say, okay, it's just another day. Because we done been through worse. Whereas they was losing their rabbit behind mine. Oh my God, I can't go to the store. Oh my God, if there's a curfew. Oh, I have to wear a mask. They was losing their ish. So this is nothing new to us. And I'll land on this here. Like my husband said earlier when the space first started and he was listening in, and he said, at the end of the day, we gonna be all right. Because the Most High sits high and he looks low. And first will be last and the last will be first. And if you think, these people think that they're not going to have to pay the piper, you can do whatever it is you think that you are doing to the children of the Most High all day. But at some point in time, you are going to have to pay. You could allocate all of the resources in the countries and demean us every step of the way. And you can allocate all the resources to all of the people except us. But at the end of the day, you're going to give us our resources and you're going to pay us back in all of the resources and your blood. We're going to have it all. We're going to have it all. So you sit in your freaky little spaces and you bond over your per capita talking points, and you bond over one video where a white girl got that work. She got that work. She got that work. She got that work. Because y'all post videos all day long, and I've seen videos where white folks had bust somebody Black down, and there was nothing in the comments that you all are saying about the videos now, like you are now. So we see what it's about. So, it's that mind game.
It's wasted.
It's that mind game that you can only waste on, you can only play on the weak. But thank you for stepping into the room with the strong. And I land.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. We're going to get to Rerod, and we're going to go ahead and get to our other speakers, and then we're going to close it out for the night. Rerod, go ahead. You got it.
Hey, Newstoter, let me turn off my Bluetooth really quickly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you a lot for allowing me to speak, Newstoter. Peace and blessings to the room, all the Black family in it. I just wanted to just jump on really quickly. You guys hit on so much stuff. But I just wanted to jump in and say, really quickly that I just wanted to say, they're a bunch of cowards. For them to all come into this country and jump on one group, they're a bunch of cowards, okay? And everyone, Diane Yap, I couldn't go into her space. I couldn't go into her space because I was compelled to cuss her out, and I didn't want to do that. And I'm not going to do it here. But she is a disgusting person. I'm sorry. She's disgusting. She's a disgusting person. Everything she says about us is disgusting. And I don't think that she deserved any of our time because nothing came out of that conversation. More is going to come out of this conversation than came out of that. But I doubt it because these people don't listen. We heard what we heard. You know what I'm saying? It's making us better. It's making us realize what's going on. But it's not going to change their perception on anything. They have to stick with this narrative. That's what's one thing that's completely clear out of all of these spaces that I've been going to. They're going to stick to their narrative. They don't care about ancient history. They don't even care about history now. They don't bring up school shootings. They don't bring up murder. When the parents murder the kids, they don't bring up any of those in the crime stats. So I'm thinking maybe they're not making them to the crime stats. As long as they're not guilty, it's not a crime stat, right? As long as it's not made a crime stat, clearly you don't put it in there as one, then it's not one. So I just think that all of this stuff, this per capita, it's a game. Just like the IQ scores, it's all a game that they're playing because they want to be smart, but clearly we can see throughout history the things that are happening right now in America. They're not smart, that they need help and proximity to blackness to get anything done. All right? And as far as this little white girl who got slammed on the ground, it was not violent. I'm just trying to figure out when it's not been violent. Oh, that was just too violent. Oh, that was just too much. No, it wasn't too much when you were seeing my ancestors being burnt, taking their body parts and eating them. That wasn't very violent at all, wasn't it? That was just it was legal then. It was normal to pick a nigga. So don't give me this, they're not violent. Now all of a sudden they come out with their khakis and their white shirts with their smiles while they're doing all this dirty stuff behind closed doors, white collar crime, rape, murder, pedophilia. The list goes on. But they want to talk about they're not violent because they're stats. For real? Your stats that you made up? Your stats that you made up? Okay. And I'll land there. Sorry for those, man. But thank you for allowing me to speak.
All right, no problem. We're going to get to our final 4 speakers for the night. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes each, and then we're going to be closing this space out for the night. Let me go ahead and get to Talent. Go ahead, and I get to Rella, Amelia, and Original.
Hey, peace and love. Thank you for allowing me to speak again. Shout out to everybody that came and spoke, and you guys for hosting an amazing space. To echo Elder Trouble, protect your mental health and your spirit because this is definitely attacked. I'm going to start with an article from 2023 from an Asian woman by the name of Louise Liu, and she actually is a coordinator at the Anti-Hate Communication Organization Against Asian Americans Advancing Justice out of Washington, D.C. Just to give you her credentials. She gets into an area where it says, despite the high-profile videos, there is no evidence that suggests the main perpetrators of anti-Asian hate on Black people. According to the University of Michigan's Hate Project, a report on news articles about instances of anti-Asian hate in 2020, 75% of the perpetrators of physical attacks and 89.6% of perpetrators in all forms of anti-Asian harassment were white. These findings are consistent with the previous study, which reviewed the FBI hate stats from 1992 to 2014, which 75% of offenders of anti-Asian hate crimes identified as white. I'm ready to put this whole thing to bed. In historic fashion, the easiest group to attack is the ones that they work so hard to dehumanize. It's odd to me for these two things in the title to kind of speak, where people are saying that we're violent, and I guess they're trying to go for some sort of humanity, but then on the other side, wanting to use this video of a fight to showcase as we are inhumane. You know, I feel like sometimes people forget that lynchings were public. They sold tickets for them, right? They actually were. So, I mean, I had more to say, Newstoter, but I'm gonna land here.
No.
Black Americans have never killed for power. And the day Black Americans actually do become violent and killed for power, that is the day when per capita is not going to be a fun thing to talk about, because we will be killing per capita, right? To be the socially economic disenfranchised community at not 13% of the population, at 50 million bodies, one specific ethnic group, the largest in the United States from chattel slavery. Y'all better be lucky we are not waging war, burning down this country. I could say a lot, but I'm going to land there.
All right, Talent. Now, I see we got Diane up here in the speaker section, and I was getting ready to close it out. But, okay, I see you up here, Diane. I will let you go ahead if you want to speak before we get ready to close this out.
Okay, I'll just make it really brief. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I just actually have one question, and it's sincere. It's an honest question. I know that probably every single person in this space hates me because I share stats about crime and things like that.
We don't hate anybody. We don't hate anybody. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, maybe you just think that I'm, I don't know, being an agent or something like that. So I share these stats. I haven't actually seen a rebuttal of the stats, like there's something wrong with my math or there's something wrong with the stats. I get that there's a lot of anger about me sharing these stats, and my question is, I wonder, like, why would you be mad at somebody for sharing crime stats rather than being mad at the criminals who make all of you look bad? Why is it me that you're angry at? Like, why do you defend, people who say get into a fight and then bash some girl's head on the ground? Why are you like, oh, that's no big deal? Fights are violent.
Hold on. Let her finish speaking, y'all. Let her finish speaking. Go ahead and finish speaking.
Okay, so my question is, like, why would you minimize that and say, like, oh, it's not that big a deal, violence, fights are violent, whatever, the other girl started it. Like, every single person seems to be either trying to minimize it or say, oh, that's okay, that's fine. And I just don't understand why you don't have to side with a criminal or a violent person just because they're the same race. Like, I would never do that. I don't understand why anybody else would. It's genuine.
You do it all the time.
Okay, everybody, I need my speakers to stay on their microphone real quick. I appreciate you coming up here, Diane. Now, one thing, let's be honest, kids fight. Nobody's sitting up here. Nobody wants to see the girl that got her head hit seriously injured or anything like that as well too. The girl participated in the fight herself. The girl, she stood up there. She swung first. I can't remember if she hit the black girl or not, but she was an active participant in the fight. Now, whether you think the fight went too far, that's one thing, but she was an active participant in the fight. I hear what you're saying about sharing stats with and I like that you said that, because you said that now criminals make us look bad. You had a brother that was in here and he broke down the stats as well too. The vast majority of black people aren't criminals. So when you're saying that, and we're the only group of people on this planet, in this country, that if a minority of us do something, all of us get blamed for it. Now, when white people do stuff, And if it's one white person, if a white person goes up there and shoot them all up, do a serial killing, they're not saying that all white men ages 30 to 45 are serial killers in this country. They go ahead and they paint that one white man as a lone wolf, that he took responsibility, he's to blame for it. So only when it comes to black people are black people judged by every single solitary person in the group. Your people are not blamed by every single solitary person. Hold on real quick, Diane, because I didn't cut you off. I'm gonna let you speak. But we're the only group of people, and I know you said you were sharing stats, and why do we get upset instead of with the criminals? Black people for years. I mean, and this just goes to show, when there's criminal activity in these neighborhoods and stuff like that, black neighborhoods, you've always had black politicians and black community leaders speak out against the crime and the drugs and anything going on in the country, in the actual neighborhoods as well. Now, maybe it doesn't get the media coverage. You got black people marching to stop violence. You got black people participating in this and that or whatever. So because the media doesn't cover it, doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I mean, whether you got local politicians speaking about it, everything else, community activists, all of them standing up speaking about it. Now, I like the way that you share the stats about black people, but here's the thing, and I like that you do the per capita thing, but you guys never do the total number of actual criminals and people incarcerated and people on probation and this and that or whatever. So that's the argument right there. And it's just, and it really, it's a tool that a lot of white folks use as well too. When they say, oh, well, you guys ain't nothing but welfare queens. We're like, well, wait a minute. Welfare was created by your people for your people. You know, when we start talking about these projects and everything else, these ghettos up north and stuff, well, Jewish people, Irish people, Italians, they were the first residents of this. Now, people say, well, you know, they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and they were able to go ahead and get themselves, and they came over here with just $1 to their name. No, we pulled ourselves up 100 times. And I know you were trying to say, well, you know, I think in your space you're trying to say, well, you know, people talk about redlining, but, you know, redlining by average, it happens more to white people and this and that. Here's the thing, you know, because my mother, you know, they had eminent domain, so they had to give up their house. The thing is that normally when you have eminent domain and you have to sell your property, black people always get lowballed on the actual property that they have to sell, while white people normally get top dollar for their actual property and their values as well too. So I think the issue with a lot of black people here say, well, hey, you have a whole lot of heat, and I know you was in the space earlier, you have a whole lot of heat for black people, but let's be for real, you don't have that same heat for white people, because I'm sure if you break down the numbers, the crimes and everything since your people came to this country, and even now when they have those hate crimes and people say, oh, well, we don't want to talk about the hate crimes, a lot of the hate crimes going on were actual white people committing against your community as well too, but you guys don't talk about that. You talk about black people. You guys talk about how, and you even made because you even in your space was saying something that black people were going around killing Asians for fun. Now, when were black people going around killing Asians for fun? When was this? Because I was born and raised in this country, and I don't ever remember black people sitting up here killing Asians for fun. So this is the situation. This is what we're having right here. You talk about affirmative action, this and that, or whatever, and how it helped Asians out of these Ivy League schools. The Ivy League schools, before affirmative action and after affirmative action, never had a huge population of black people. But let's not forget that. Let's not get it twisted here. Those civil rights bills that were signed in the 60s, every single solitary person in this country, be it a white woman, be it minorities, and I'm including all of the Asians, I'm including the Latinos, the Hispanics, the Arabs, I'm talking about Black Caribbeans, all of them benefited off of the struggle of black people. You know, black people don't benefit off the struggle of Asians. Black people don't benefit off the struggle of Native Americans. Black people don't benefit off the struggle of Arabs. Black people don't benefit off the struggle of nobody. So to sit up here and act like, you know, even our contributions in this country are equal is complete nonsense. Like I say, Frederick Douglass, when you had the Chinese Exclusion Act, when this man was no more than a slave, he sat up here defending the actual rights of Chinese. When have Chinese people in this country, or Asians or Japanese or any of them in a large number, and I'm not talking about individuals, sat up here and defended the rights of black Americans? Now you're sitting up here talking about the criminality in black America and this and that. Let's look at your bank account. Let's look at the businesses that have profited tenfold from their involvement from black people. That goes from watching Chinese movies, Bruce Lee movies in the 70s, to going to Chinese restaurants, Japanese restaurants, to black women going to these saloons and nail places and everything else as well, too. So to sit up here, if black people was really trying to get at Asians like that, they would have been got at them, and it wouldn't be some little small increment. You guys are like, what, 4th or 5th on the list in terms of hate crimes? Guess who's number 1? Guess who has more hate crimes committed against him than anybody? Hell, it was a black man, James Byrd, that got dragged and got killed in Texas where the hate crime came at. But of course, it took Matthew Shepard, a gay white individual, to go ahead and really get it rolling, you know. So to sit up here and say that black people, in terms of criminality, and like I say, it's such a small, minute percentage, you guys commit crimes. Y'all got all kind of secret organizations in Chinatown and all these other places as well, too, that you guys get immunity from. You know, you got the police department, your own police departments and everything else like that. You guys can police yourselves and whatnot. So to sit up here and make it seem like, you know, black people are targeting Asians and everything else like that, and black people, you know, have led the actual struggle for all minorities. Asians have benefited off of the black American struggle in this country. Black Americans have not benefited one iota off the struggle of Asians in this country. In fact, they have been an ally to Asians, which Asians have never been an ally to them. So my thing is that if you're going to drop these statistics and these stats about black on Asian crime, let us hit the stats on Latino and Asian crime. Let us hit the stats on white and Asian crime. You know, but y'all not gonna push that button with Mr. Charlie too much. Y'all gonna go ahead and y'all, you know, you feel like, hey, it's like when you have the baddest kid in the room, nobody wants to say anything to him. They'll bully and pick on the other kids, with the baddest one sitting in the back. You know, everybody pretty much just lets that go. So that's our situation. That's our problem right there. That, hey, you're sitting up here and you're talking about all of this, and you're talking about the IQ of black people. You're talking about, hey, I even heard in that space you talk about, yeah, I know black people were slaves, but you know, what about the slaves? And you talk about the slaves in China, the slaves that like, what the hell does the slaves in China got to do with the slaves in America? See, that's the thing. When we start talking about resources and things in this country, people want to go ahead and talk about the entire world. Well, listen here. I wasn't born in the entire world. My people didn't build the entire world. There was no America till my people actually built it. So what went on in Israel, what went on in New Zealand, what went on in this place or that place, I have no bearing on that. And whenever it's time for black people to go ahead and get something, people want to start talking about, well, 5,000 years ago when the Romans took over this province and this and that or whatever, which has absolutely zero to do with us. See, when it's time to go ahead and actually get some resources, people want to go ahead and start using the entire world as an example. Now, we start saying, well, you know what? Canada has free healthcare. This country has a free education, college education. First thing, well, we can't do that. We're in America. You know, that's different. We can't do that over here. They can do that there. But so whenever you want to do something, you want to go ahead and make sure that you don't connect with the rest of the world doing, because, oh, we can't do that. They can do that, this and that, or whatever. When you don't want to do something, then you start comparing stuff from 5,000 years ago before there was even the United States of America and all this other stuff. So that's the issue. You're very anti-black. Your space was very anti-black. You attack black people. You sit up here and you say all kind of negative things, and you're talking about, well, black people ain't never accepted criminality. If you ever heard the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, they denounced that. Whether you like him or not, Jesse Jackson denounced that. Malcolm X denounced that. Martin Luther King denounced that. Whether you like Al Sharpton or not, he denounced it. There's a bunch of black people that denounce. Black people don't want to sit up here and live in criminality no more than white people or Asians or anybody else, and they speak about it as well too. People sitting up here talk about it. If you're articulate, people make fun of you and say that you're trying to be white and all kind of stuff. Just come and create all kind of straw man arguments and stuff like that. So no, that was the issue. That was the situation. And I like the fact that you did stereotype us all too. You say, well, why do you guys defend criminals and this and that or whatever? Listen, you had a damn teenager by the name of Trayvon Martin got killed by a grown man. He got racially profiled in his father's neighborhood. He got stalked. You had the damn dispatcher get on the phone, tell this man, do not follow this kid because of his actions. Whether people want to say Trayvon Martin attacked him first or did this, or however the situation happened, because of this man's actions, because he was so dead set that he saw a Negro in a place that he had no business being at. He went ahead and he confronted him, and he is responsible. I don't give a damn if the court found him not guilty or not, because we're in Florida. I'm in Florida where the situation took place. So that's not surprising that he was found not guilty. So to sit up here and then to say, well, you know, you had the child that Tamir Rice got killed, 12 years old. Like whenever a black teenager, a black child gets killed, you know, it's always a situation. Well, they kind of brought it on themselves, or he was kind of big to be young and this and that or whatever. Situation with these girls here. It was a fight. It was unfortunate kids fight. And I'm hoping that this young woman is not seriously messed up or whatever. I wish it would not have happened. Honestly, I wish it would not have happened. But I don't want to see her go to prison for the rest of her life or for a significant portion of her life. And that's just the way I feel. Now I'll go ahead and I'll let you kick back.
Okay, so you said that I haven't shared anything about white on Asian or Hispanic on Asian violent crime, and that's actually not true. I compared rates of white on Asian versus Asian on white violent crimes, and whites commit about 1.1 times as many violent crimes against Asians as vice versa, and Hispanics commit about 1.06 violent crimes per violent crime that Asian commits against a Hispanic, whereas the stats for black on Asian versus Asian on black, something like 16 times, right? So it's
sorry, I gotta drop down because I can't hear. Can you bring me back?
Yeah, I'll drop you down. But go ahead, Diane.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. So I have shared that. I've actually shared that. I don't know if you follow me, probably not. But that's part of my analysis, that there's something going on, that the violence from black against Asian is significantly out of proportion, whereas the violent crime between Asians and other groups is really not. It's not even twice as much. It's like 1.1 and 1.06.
Where, if you don't mind me asking, where is most of this violent crime against Asians taking place that blacks are doing this to them?
I don't know. The crime stats aren't broken down by specific location.
Because I know in that space you had, I think one of the gentlemen, he was saying something in 1 month in New York, you had something like 27 or 29 attacks of black people on Asians and stuff. So I just figured, since he can go ahead and he can pinpoint that exact state that black people were just systematically attacking. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm born and raised in Florida. I have never even seen a black in all my years. I'm in my mid-40s. I have never even seen a black and Asian get into a fight in Florida. And I've lived in North Florida and South Florida as well too.
Okay. I mean, and that's your experience and it's completely valid, but I don't think that argument means that it doesn't happen. It's like one of my friends, he says, I've never met a bisexual person, so therefore they don't exist. It's not proof of anything. It is your experience and that is valid, but it doesn't prove that it doesn't happen. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying exactly, but here's my thing too. So are you saying that?
Hey, can I answer that? Just real quick.
Hold on, real quick. Let me ask her one question, and I'm gonna let you. But are you saying that black people commit more crimes against Asians than any other group in this country? Because when you look at the hate crimes, you know, that's not. And I know y'all say, well, hate crimes don't matter and this and that, and hate crimes don't tell this or that, tell that. But when you look at the actual crimes and stuff, hate crimes, I don't see where black people are leading in actual these crimes against Asians. So you're saying that black people, more than any other group in the country, commit more crimes against Asians than anybody else?
I'm actually saying that black people do commit more crimes, violent crimes, not hate crimes, but violent crimes against Asians than anyone else in this country. And here I'm going to explain why I prefer to talk about violent crime. For violent crime, about 180,000 incidents per year target Asians. And for, a hate crime with a physical component, like not just graffiti or something, or not just saying a slur, a hate crime with a physical component, like beating someone up and also getting it classified as a hate crime. For Asians, there's only like 20 a year. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm focused on violent crime, because nearly 200,000 per year versus 20 per year. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to focus on the smaller number there, since it's so much smaller. And yes, in fact, black people do commit more violent crimes against Asians than any other group, and that's unusual. Like for every other group, it's their own group commits the most violent crimes against each other. But for Asians alone, it's another group, and that group is Black people.
Okay, and you were saying something about the 200,000. What was that? I'm sorry, what was that part you said about the 200,000 again now?
It's approximately 180,000 violent incidents with Asian victims per year.
So you're saying that Black people commit 180,000 violent offenses against Asians is what you're telling us?
No. Total per year, it's about 180,000 violent incidents with Asians as victims. And of that, 27.5% is committed by Black people, and that's a higher percentage than for any other group. Yeah.
So you say 20. Hold on, real quick, Rella. You're saying 27.5%.
Yes.
So what percent of it? What percent of the violent crimes committed against Asian come from white people?
About 24. Same with Asians. They're tied.
See a damn lie.
It's not. It's 20.
Oh, you are. Because I'm about to pull it out. Oh, I'm about to.
Rella.
Yeah, Rella, come on.
And plus, we got other hands up too, real quick. So I just want to say this. Everything you're saying, Diane Yap, is a lot. And here's the reason why. We don't even have to look at stats to say, hey, look, you're not the per capita of the population. Asians as a whole, Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, Philippine, Koreans, North, South, depending on where you're from. Reach your mic. I'm about to tell you what it means if you listen long enough versus one to be prejudiced. That's what your problem is. So Asians as a whole here in America don't live in anyone else's neighborhood except either for white people or you live within the inner city communities of Black neighborhoods. Chinatowns were carved out of Black neighborhoods. So when you say per capita and we commit the most crimes against Asians, I think you need to stop that and say we commit the most crimes per, say, Asian countrymen. Because Asians is not a race. You know what I'm saying? What the hell is an Asian? Let's talk about that. Other thing is, too, y'all come to our neighborhoods. We don't go to your neighborhoods and want to live. So if you don't like the violence that is being placed upon Asian America, you have to go to your own side of the country. And that's mainly in the northwest of Washington State, where y'all mainly are at. And then in California, obviously, you see your migrant families. You see your families coming across the border illegally using TikTok. They are violating federal law. So when we talk about criminals, how do we know that these people that are crossing the border aren't your Chinese criminals, your Taiwanese criminals?
Can I
see that? Per capita. Hold on. I'm going to let you rap. Hold on a minute. I'm going to let you rap. So just to land my plane, because I know there's other hands that we're about to close out in a minute. So Asians live either amongst themselves within their own little confined communities. You're only 6-7% as a whole. And remember, you're an admixture. Chinese, Japanese added up. You know, you're not talking about one single country of Asia. You're talking about y'all as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Which doesn't make any sense either. You know what I'm saying? So to make a long story short, you either live within the confines of a Black city, but it's your own city. And how the hell y'all have your own police here too? That's another thing. So, or you live within white neighborhoods. You live amongst white people. You don't need stats for that. So when you say Black people are the most violent against Asians, I think you will have to really go out in the streets. I think you're looking at way too many FBI stats. You're looking at way too much CSI on TV. You're not even in these communities to ask these people these type of questions, whether it be your own Asian or Black. Has anyone ever bothered you from this particular race? Or do you? Yes. Well, I think that's a lot because you're only in one place. You're not over here in New York. You're not in Florida. You're not in Texas. You're not in Ohio. You're not in Jersey. How is that even logical, what you're saying? But I'm going to yield. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, you're right. Like, Asians do primarily have white neighbors. The average Asian, their neighborhood is like 50% white. But you bringing up that point actually makes it worse because if we are living mostly around white people, but we're getting violently attacked more so by Black people than white people, then that's even worse. Still a lot.
Wait, hold on. Let her finish. Well, no. Let her finish, because let her finish. All right, Rella, we'll get to you. Hold on for a second. Let her finish up.
So for you to say that, it's still.
You own the FBI?
No, we don't own any news media.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the news media like that as well. So FBI, let's like any other police, can lie and make up a false charge against you. Police do that all the time. So you mean to tell me the FBI don't do that?
At scale, the FBI is making up statistics simply to make you look bad. At scale,
okay, hold on a second.
Tens of thousands of crimes are made up just to make black people look bad by the FBI.
They've been doing that for hundreds of years anyway. Online right here, she's our residential legal expert. You can talk to her about that.
Okay, and then just one more point about what you said. You said basically, if you don't like the violence, then you should get out of our neighborhoods. Are you really saying like we cannot help to be violent?
Well, I'm gonna say we're not. I'm gonna say real quick. I'm gonna say we're not. Hold on real quick. I'm gonna say we're not saying that. What I am gonna say is this right here, is that if you had that much, if you're having that much, you're saying that black people are attacking Asians like that. I'm trying to figure out then why are Asians putting all of these businesses in black neighborhoods? They are making fist over dollars from the black community. So I'm having a hard time believing that black people are sitting up here. And the matter of fact that you guys are so scared for your life that you constantly are putting up new businesses. You're putting up Chinese restaurants. You're putting up saloons. You're putting up beauty salons. You're putting up hair care stores, all of this stuff in the black neighborhoods. You know, you knowing that you're going to have to deal with these same people you say that are just victimizing you left and right. So I'm having a hard time about that. I will say this about the FBI as well, too. Let's not act like the FBI didn't go around and plant all kind of evidence and take out all kind of black civil rights leaders as well, too. So, and I'm going to say this as well, too. I personally don't believe the statute, what you're saying, because from the time that you guys have been up in this country, there's been one group and one group alone that has been responsible for your deaths more than any other group. And I think we know who that is, Miss Yap. It has been white people that have been the ones that have been sitting up here doing all kind of things to you. Now, I know you guys are considered a model minority and everything now, but I don't believe that for one. That's my personal opinion. I don't believe for one moment that black people have been up here victimizing Asians left and right more than any other group in the country. I just have a hard time believing that. When on fact that black people more than Hispanics, more than Arabs, more than any other supposedly quote unquote minority group has contributed more to the economy of the Asian people than anybody else. Matter of fact, when you had the actual COVID shutdown take place, you had some Asian people get on TV and they were saying, hey, you know, we don't need to, black people and Asian people, we've always got along together. You guys come to our stores and you shop with us and this and that or whatever. The one that's married to Jeezy, the rapper, whatever her name was, she got on there making sure that, hey, you know what, we don't need to have any situation, like we get along with you guys and this and that or whatever. So I have a hard time believing that a community that pumps worldwide billions of dollars into the Asian economy, I have a hard time believing that black people are sitting up here targeting you and saying, you know what, we're gonna get these Asians. We're gonna get these Asians. I just have a hard time believing that. Let me go ahead. We got some hands up. Rella, I know you want to speak, so please, I'm gonna go ahead and let you speak.
Thank you, because I was really, again, I'm annoyed because again, that whole putting out percentages per capita and actually not giving you the actual raw data of what is the actual makeup of offender versus perpetrator. That's not the number that actually Diane is using, and she doesn't even in her post. I noticed that you don't even put links to the stats that you're pulling from, which is probably why again, when you were on that panel, which I posted that video of the Asian hate crime that was presenting in front of the USCCR, and your own people on that panel had to literally have you be quiet and say, we're not saying that Black African Americans, what they said, are committing more crimes than anyone else, hate crimes or violent crimes at that, because the gentleman that was on that panel listening to you guys present your hate crimes position on agents, he even asked, are you saying African Americans are committing more hate crimes? And you tried to say, yes, that was the situation, when the FBI statistics don't say that. The FBI statistics.
I just said violent crime.
Oh, I'm talking about violent crimes. That's your issue. You're talking about violent crimes, and violent crimes does not show Black or African Americans are committing more.
A link. Go look at the link before you embarrass
The numbers. Are you going to let me finish?
You're wrong, and I provided proof. So
now you're mad. Now you're upset. Now you're upset again.
Or you embarrassed.
I'm not listening.
All right, this ain't going to be a back and forth now. Just stay on your mic, Diane. You go rebuttal arguments.
Also, real quick before you unpause or you unmute it, up in the I put a Fahima she just supplied a link up in the actual jumbotron where it says most anti-Asian attacks are committed by whites in a new study. So that's up in the jumbotron as well. I haven't had a chance to read it, so I have not seen it, but she supplied that and I put it up in the jumbotron. But go ahead and Rella, go ahead and
Thank you. And so, like I said, just because you provide a link and you are actually misrepresenting the information, I don't even know what statistics you're actually pulling from, because even violent crimes, it does not say has been majority African Americans. And then on top of that, when did you start your studies on violent crimes based on race? Because most of your work that has been posted was like 2022, 2020, and that latest article that you posted, you started that latest article after the USCCR, and you changed the title of it because I've been kind of following you, and I saw that you changed the title of it to get more traction, to actually point to when people Google your the video of the recording from C-SPAN, your article will come up on the SEO search engine. So again, it goes back to you're not even being utilized, or someone that your own community is tasking to actually have the viable statistics of what violent crimes are. The FBI didn't say, oh, let's reach out to Diane Yap and she's going to give out the actual statistical data and read it correctly to the world. When in fact, the last incident on an Asian community was by proximity, was another person committing a massacre who was a part of the Asian community. And that goes back to, again, you misrepresenting information. That's why I tagged UC Berkeley Law, and I tagged the Manhattan Institute, which I don't even know if you're a part of that anymore. And if you are, it would be ashamed, because you yourself shows how low IQ you are, that you can't even represent information correctly, that you would want people to think that Black and African Americans or Black Americans are committing hate, violent crimes, as you keep saying, on Asians, to the point where Asians are just continuously opening up businesses, continuously wanting to be in low-level communities, and they don't even, I don't understand how is it that if, yes, Asians are in white communities, why Black people still are committing crimes against Asians, as if we're going into white communities to look for Asians to commit crimes on. Again, it's really, really sad that you've gone out like this, and it's really, really sad that you weren't caught in the beginning. You should be put on a list, because to me, you are committing genocide against a group of people. You are committing a degradation. I don't think you know. I don't think you know what it means. I don't think you know what it means. Genocide to me is what happened to Latasha Harlins. And genocide to me is what continuously happens when Asians join gangs, the mafia comes over to the United States and decides to utilize our country as their own, try to utilize our country as their own protection, while they rape our community of economics, while you claiming that we are committing high levels of genocide against you. See, erasure can happen when someone like you is allowed to run rampant and misuse information. You should be put on the FBI watch list, because to me, you are a harm to the United States, and you are a harm to the Black community. And on top of that, you are literally in ignorance when it comes to academia, walking ignorance on top of that. Because even your people on TikTok are debunking you. They're literally debunking you, making videos debunking your per capita statistics. Because Blacks aren't the only ones that are following you. Your own people following you, talking about some, you don't speak for them. So, like I said, that chart that you posted is wrong. You're not even actually talking about the numbers and proximity. You don't even talk about the Asian people from the same group.
All right, real quick, Relly, go ahead and land it, because we need to go ahead and get to the other hands.
You're not talking about the people who are in your own group that commit violent crimes against each other. And on top of that, you don't even talk about other groups and how their IQ is low when you're talking about them. That goes to show you how racist and prejudiced you are. Because again, you have to talk about Black people in reference to our intellect, our knowledge. All the while, the Asians ran behind Edward Bloom and was fighting against the affirmative action, and now they're still crying about how they can't even get into the universities at high record numbers like they wanted to. Next time, maybe you should use ChatGTP. Maybe that would have helped you in your article writing and your ability to read charts. I land.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to the other hands real quick, because like I said, we was getting ready to close it out till I saw Diane came up here, so I want to go ahead and let her speak. Let me go ahead and get to Aunt Lai. Aunt Lai, go ahead and real quick. Matter of fact, I'm going to hold the speakers about 3 minutes, because we're going to be closing this space out. It's going longer than what I actually intended, but go ahead, Aunt Lai.
Okay, Peace, Black Power, and Reparations. What I want to say is maybe she got her statistics list up, and she was talking about the harm that the Asians had done to cat and dogs in the inner city community, because I can't remember the last time I seen a stray dog or cat near a Chinese restaurant. That's number one. Number two, maybe she got her statistic messed up, and she's talking about the crimes that Asian people have committed against African people, the fact that they have to go over to that country and treat the harm that they're doing. Maybe she got her statistic messed up, and she was really talking about Kim Jong-un and what he's done to the Asian community. I think her facts are skewed, because you can't sit here and tell me that these so quote unquote Black people are doing more harm to these Asian people than Asians have actually done to themselves. Because Kim Jong-un won't even let y'all have families or whatever. And the fact that you have Japan, you have Taiwan, you got China, there's so many places you can go. Why don't you go there? If we're so hard to you, what makes it to the fact that you think you got to come over here in our community and then say, oh, you guys are doing this to me? The only reason why I see you as a success, I don't even know who you are. I don't know what your name is, but you are a white supremacist dream, because you are the reason why the Asians have a hate crime bill, because y'all beat each other. Y'all literally getting money because y'all get beat up by y'all spouses. You have I really think you talking about, because can't no way you be talking about what Black people do to you when you sit here and you trying, and Asian people are literally trying to create the second colonization by going over to Africa, taking their land, beating African people, making African culture have the Mandarin Chinese as one of the languages, where y'all don't just have a country, y'all have a whole continent. And if y'all feel like other people, Black, white, or indifferent, are doing something to y'all could just chill over there in y'all $1 billion continent where you ain't got to worry about other races. Because it makes no sense for me for you to be on somebody else's land. The fact that you over here telling us what we doing to you, no, but what you doing to yourself? You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I'm gonna dock my foot and land my chair. Somebody got a chair? All right.
Okay, let real quick. Let me say this real quick. Aunt Lai, you my girl and everything else too. I want to say this right here. The facts that's being put in this space right here could be easily refuted without any personal attacks or jokes like that. It's no need. We're not going to even do that in this space. We're not going to insult. We're not going to sit up here and talk about her culture and eating dogs and cats and stuff like that. We better than that. We're not going to do that. We can sit up here and I can, and pretty much we know what's BS. I mean, straight up, we know what's BS. So we're not going to sit up here in this space, and we're not going to go to that route unless somebody goes to that route on you. So straight up, I'm just letting everybody know it's no need for that, because already, like I said, there's no way based on just economics that, the Asian population is being beaten and all of this kind of stuff by black people, yet they can't wait to open a franchise or put a store or whatever in these black neighborhoods. It just, common sense just says that's not the case. And historically, we know the group and they know the group that has given them the most challenges and the most problems in this actual country. So like I said, people in this space, guys, we don't even have to go there. We can go ahead and just use our mental aspect and go ahead and just go ahead and knock all this stuff out that's saying, let's go ahead and keep it as professional as possible. Let's keep away from like the little insults like that as well too. But let me go ahead and get to let me get the mail, and I'm gonna get the art. Love I Am, Brother Moku, and then we're gonna be closing this space out in a second.
Shout out to the family, $Newstoter, Newstoter. Diane Yap, I'm so disappointed with you. I detest you, Diane. And what I have not gotten, I've not heard a response to this question, which is, why does your culture, your people, why do you come into our neighborhoods and open up business? I want to pause. I'd like you to come off your microphone and tell me why you guys come and dominate and set up shop in our neighborhood if we are so violent towards you.
Do you honestly not know?
Listen, just answer the question. Just answer the question.
Because the people who do that don't have enough money to rent anywhere else. Your neighborhoods are cheaper. It's an economic choice. That's literally all it is.
Okay.
If they could, they'd probably go somewhere else. They don't want to get it back.
Yeah. That's fine. That's great. Now, I believe that these statistics that you are in support of, claiming violent crime towards you guys from Black Americans, you know what that is? That's where somebody used the phrase, what happened before the recording started? Because there are too many incidents where Asians have come in and initiated violent action towards Black Americans. And if you saw the entire videos, we were long suffering with that encounter until at some point we said, a pumps and a bump, we on your J's. So for the bottom line is that you are racist. You enjoy being racist. You have a motive to drop this propaganda everywhere you go. And like I said, karma will deal with you as needed. But you are not to be believed. You are spewing propaganda. And yes, our area might be cheaper, but for your culture to come into our neighborhood and then cry foul, there's something wrong with you. You can't come to our neighborhood, set up shop, run game. We are your customer base.
What makes it yours?
Wait, hold on, Diane. Just hold on. It's our neighborhood because it's dominated by us. That's why it's ours.
What makes Chinatown and Koreatown and all that y'all's?
Thank you. And to finish my point, you guys come to our neighborhood and where we are your customer base. And I cannot wait until the day that we see your businesses in our neighborhood go bankrupt in 2 weeks flat because we have assembled and are boycotting the hell out of your franchises, out of your business endeavors. You come to our community, you treat us like crap, and then you manipulate statistics. You guys start the crap, but then you manipulate it and say, oh gosh, you all of a sudden you cry foul.
Where's your evidence that we start anything?
Diane.
Where's your evidence? No, please, evidence.
Diane, I asked you one question, you answered it. I don't want to hear from you. You're in here, you're going to listen to me right now. You come in our neighborhood, dog us out.
I think she's leaving.
Well, that's fine, good, because you know what? You don't get to talk trash about Black Americans and still stay in the space. They in there bogarting and gaining revenue off our black behind. But you're living out here next to white folks. You won't live in the area that you set up shop in. I'm landing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mel. Let me go ahead and get to Art. Art, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I wanted to run Diane down, but I never get the chance. I not just wanted to use raw math.
Hey, Art, you got to speak up louder. I can barely hear you.
I said I can rarely run Diane down because a lot of people just run her down and I never get a chance. But anyway, I'll say this: when they say per capita, 13% of the black population, 30% of the population makes up 54% of the overturned convictions. That's beside the fact that 76%, and mind you, the 76% is kind of low, because I'm assuming racism and targeting and Jim Crow stops when blacks can vote. So 76% of this nation's existence has been historically proven targeting blacks. And that's beside the 13% being 54% of the overturned convictions. Or a 2006 report came out with white supremacists infiltrating law enforcement. So why are we talking about those per capita? So it's bad faith. They'll have one per capita stat, because if they look at any of the other per capita stats, they would get shit on, straight up. And we don't have to. And that's beside the fact. How do you draw conclusions with only 25% of the data? Because only 25% is even been solved. So we're talking about speculation, and then we're only talking about one per capita stat that they want to harp on. Meanwhile, ignoring literally every other per capita stat. So I don't even understand why we entertain these conversations, because it's partial data that we're basing that on anyway. From an agency that again, a 2006 report came in saying white supremacists infiltrated. It's kind of moot, but I'll land it.
All right, thank you. Buffalo, if you want to speak, put your hand up. We're not taking any other speakers. I'll let you speak. Love, I am. Go ahead, and let me get the Buffalo, Brother Moku, and we're gonna close it out for the night.
Diane Yap is just a woman on Twitter. Like, I think that we have to keep that in perspective. Like, she's just a person on Twitter. Like, if you get off the app, she doesn't even exist. And that's how I view her. Like, I can't even rationalize crafting a conversation about trying to convince her of something when her mind is made up. They're going to operate in cognitive. This is where it's important to identify natures of groups. And so since this nation's inception, the Asians, and I actually struggle to use that term because I know that they delineate it in the same sense that we desire to delineate. Race is proven obsolete when you really consider that humanity has one. There's no Asian progenitor, there's no white progenitor, there's just a melanated progenitor, and every group is coming from that same, like every group is coming from the same group, so the same people, persons rather. So yeah, it's just, she knows what she's doing. This is who they are. They've been bystanders to our oppression since they've been in this nation. I don't value the statistics because I feel like they evade 350 years of history. And so when I think of the function of statistics, I would think that they would be trying to get down to an issue. And you can't have statistics that evade 350 years of history in a nation and think that you're going to get down to the bottom of anything other than a very contrived picture that you're trying to paint of the group that you are focused on. Like, it doesn't make sense. I think that, it doesn't, we don't get to benefit from walking around believing that white people are not violent.
Like, that doesn't even make sense. If the statistics today show white people as being the least violent, how is that beneficial to us? When we literally, our relationship with them is characterized by violence. They literally, the stats serve no purpose for us. When you're talking about the Asians, if we know that they are immigrants, then that means that the bulk of their population exists somewhere else. So again, how do stats concerning Black Americans truly reflect anything other than stats concerning Black Americans, like towards them? Like, you have a whole nation, and there's other things going on. So that going on there, that I don't even know why we have it. I don't understand why. She's just so insignificant. It's irritating to me. And she's asked that disingenuous question about why aren't you more mad at the criminals that make you look bad? This is the same woman that got mad because I posted a video of the Asians having dogs on the truck. Why aren't you so more mad about the Chinese who had dogs on the truck than you are at me for posting a damn video? So what are we? It's like, it's morally pretentious. I want you to notice that she's self-preserved when she engaged with you. She needs us to be emotional. She needs you to feel away and have this emotionalism applied to your how you feel. But then she's just giving very little, right? It's a game. It's a psychological game. Like, oh Lord, we are definitely victims of a trauma-induced experience, because it really doesn't make sense for a group that has been subjected to genocide. Heard the definition. I put the definition in the chat when I was on my other account. So even when she was saying you don't know what genocide is, yes, we do. And you have been participatory in the genocide on our people as bystanders. And so when you're talking about conditions of life imposed upon a group to bring about their harm or destruction, that would look like economic deprivation and moving immigrant populations into the community to extract resources from that said community. We don't need Asians in the community to sell us beauty products. When that was a $1 million industry with Black American women. That literally, you get what I'm saying? Like, all of that does contribute to the genocide. That was a valid point. I'm landed. It's just, I'm tired of people like Diane, and I like talking to my own people, but I don't like to suffer through people's cognitive dissonance just to have conversation with my own people when they know very well what they're doing, because they craft conversations that they facilitate. They hold the narrative, they control the narrative, and yeah, it's just, I don't think we have to do that as a people.
Okay, thank you, love. I am. Let me go ahead and get to Buffalo. Buffalo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Buffalo, before you go, hit the Cash App. Y'all support the Newstoter. Come up on newstoter.com, make a subscription. The low is $1.50 up to $10. Support the Black news media. Let's go. Retweet the room out. Get this information out here so our folks can start supporting these people. Go ahead.
Hi, Newstoter. Hi, gentlemen. I was looking at I'm doing all right. I hope everybody's doing well in the space. I was looking at what Ms. Yap posted, and I just wanted to share with the space that she's pulling these stats from what is called the National Crime Victimization Survey. It's a self-reported survey. A percentage of these, what I just found very interesting as my brief look over it, she did put her own personal article. So she's some type of aspiring journalist or something. She put her own article in the comments below, which links to these stats that are self-reported. But I kind of ran across this when they were pushing the Asian hate crime bill, and so they have set this up, and the rate of these self-reported incidents the rate that it grew over that amount of time was just exponential, and I'm seeing some kind of relevance to this to say that these people that are reporting to this survey are not reporting to the police, and I just think that's very very pertinent to this conversation. And so just I wanted to let everyone know where they can find that information if they would like to dig into that further. So thank you for letting me speak. I hope everybody has a great evening.
All right. Thank you, Buffalo. Appreciate you coming up tonight. We go ahead and get to Brother Moku. Brother Moku, go ahead and unmute your mic. Like I said, we're trying to close this thing out, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Well, we'll keep it short and sweet. Shout out to everybody in the space. I definitely will be holding a part 2 to this. Who are the real killers? And I will just say again to my first point, and I will land with this first point. And all the Chinese stores and all the little Chinese joints I see up here, black people refer to them Koreans as Ma. Ma, can I get this? Hey, Ma, you good, Ma? I don't never see nobody hitting nobody. I don't never see nobody running them to their cars when they get finished counting that that big old bankroll that they just got finished making off our community after serving us this poisonous fried chicken and these poisonous half and halves and and everything else. So I'll land there.
All right. We're going to go ahead and close this thing out for the night, guys. It's been longer than I anticipated, but I want to shout out. I see we got somebody trying to come up here. Who was that trying to come up here?
That's Fahima and
America. We're just going to have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have to get you tomorrow, bro, because we got to go ahead and close this thing out. So let me give a shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that came out and supported the space tonight. Good space as always, guys. We should be back tomorrow for another interesting space as well, too. If not, then we'll be back Wednesday. But more than likely, we'll be back tomorrow night, guys. Like DJ say, support on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter, support Black media. We will see you guys tomorrow night. Hold on. Fahima was trying to come up here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wasn't sure. I know we closed it out.
Yeah, I am trying to get up out of here. Like, really. Fahima, I'll give you. Is she here?
I think so.
She was just all right. Fahima, I'll give you 2 minutes, sweetie, but I got to go ahead and close it out. So if you could do it in 2 minutes, let me know. If not, then we'll just have to catch you in the next space because I need to definitely go ahead and get up out of here. You there, Fahima? Okay. I don't know. Fahima might be having some issues. But anyways, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night or we'll be back Wednesday. Can you hear me?
Just real quick. The fact of the matter is this woman, her statistics are completely off. Very quickly, Donald Trump started saying that calling COVID the China virus, and that's when you had an increase of attacks on Asian people by premise. I don't know why this woman is sitting here putting out all of this anti-Black rhetoric. She needs to focus on what I guess this is her niche, and this is how she's trying to become, to blow up and, increase her profile. But it is a known fact. And a few instances where you had some Black people in New York who had mental health issues had attacked Asians. But the majority of the assaults on Asian people were coming from white supremacists as a proximate cause of Donald Trump calling COVID the China virus. And as the sister mentioned, the largest mass attack on the Asian community was in California by a fellow Asian. And I'll land there. Thank you, Newstoter, for allowing me to get in really quickly.
Okay, thank you, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Peace, everybody. We'll see y'all. Have a good night. Peace.
Peace. Asian hate is fake, y'all. Asian hate is fake. Let's go.